It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, March 18th. It is the day after St. Patrick's Day. What better song to kick you in than Four Sticks, which goes back between 5/8 time and 6/8 time, which is confusing and bewildering and makes you feel a little spinny, a little hungover, a little, boy, I had too much St. Patty's last night, possibly. Hey, listen, none of this stuff is random around here. We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing at the KQ Morning Show. Make sense of that one, you bunch of hungover lunatics. Oh, it's Monday after St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I am sideways because yesterday I went hard at it, by which I mean Chauncey had surgery on his leg, and we've just been on 247, watch the dog, make sure he's okay. Didn't have a drink within 15 feet of me yesterday. Boy, I could have used one.
Yeah.
But he's going to be great. But I'm just saying, I feel like I had a proper St. Patrick's Day weekend. But really, it was just sleeplessness over dog anxiety. So, you know, but, you know, there are better... Yeah, there's few reasons that justify, you know, stress and lack of sleep more than looking after the goodest boy ever. So I'm okay with it.
Well, when it heals up, you can have a great toast.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Exactly. Zep, are you word on the street is you were arrested? Everything cool?
Yeah, all good to go. Bailed. It was really more of a misunderstanding than anything. So I think I'm good to go. Got a good lawyer.
Nice.
Station's paying for everything.
That's great. Boy,
that's
awesome.
Yeah. They step up, don't they?
They really do. They got your back.
At least one person out there is wondering what happened. So I'll go ahead. I'm kidding. I just threw that out there. Zep wasn't arrested. Zep had a fine adult laid back weekend for St. Patrick's Day. You didn't cut loose, did you?
No, I just enjoyed the great outdoors, got outside a little bit, and, some fresh air, that sort of. Didn't even make my boozy Shamrock Shake on Sunday. That's when you hit that age, you're like, oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. You got stuff for your shit now. Do you want it now?
Oh, you made it sound so good, too.
It is. It was kind of looking forward to it. But then, it's Sunday. You know, if St. Patrick's Day had been on Friday or Saturday, but by Sunday I just sort of lost my mojo.
All right, so that's 0 for 2. Tony, save us. Tell them you painted the town green, didn't you? You went nuts all weekend, Tony Lee.
Oh, man, you're not going to believe it. I took Augie to go see Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yes!
Topped it off with some Chick-fil-A.
Oh, man.
God damn.
Dude.
Ripped it.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing better. Well, that was obviously Saturday, as Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
So you and Augie just got bent yesterday. Then. Son, let me show you how it is.
Oh, big, huge fight.
It's like the Kids in the Hall skit. You're 12. You're going to sit and watch me drink this bottle of scotch on your birthday. That's nice. I like Tony and young Augie just going nuts for St. Patrick's Day. When does the rest of the family get back to town?
Mine, Thursday. Rachel and Hudson are in Vegas. They ran a half marathon.
Oh!
Wow.
And my mighty little Hudson took 7th place out of all the people there, all the hundreds of people running. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that boy.
First place in his age group.
That's crazy.
Right.
13 miles. You go to Las Vegas to run 13 miles.
Yeah.
Is it like the Twin Cities Marathon, but they hold it, obviously, in the winter in Vegas? You're not going to run a marathon, when it's too hot out. Or was it like a St. Patrick's Day fun run kind of deal? Or?
Yeah, it was a St. Patrick's Day tunnel run. It goes around the Hoover Dam, I guess. That's a big deal there. So,
that's awesome. Sounds like it should be a big deal. All right, 0 for 3. Candace, by God, save the credibility of this morning show. What did you get into? Please tell us you were ripping and roaring and having a blast.
Let's just say it's a good thing it's only once a year.
That a girl. What, she like spin classes 2 or 3 a day and then a lot of sauna treatments, or were you just out getting belted?
Yeah, I mean, I did all those things.
Nice, that's great. I like that. I'm sure there was some great, there was a lot of fun to be had over the weekend. Did you have any bizarre concoctions? Did you have any cocktails for the first time? Is there like a new thing out there, or was it just the same old stuff?
No, pretty much the same old stuff. I had a few Guinness, which was fun. I never drank that, so
it's high time you get on the Guinness train, kid.
A few Guinness, that's filling.
Yeah, not all at once.
All right.
One on Saturday, one on Sunday.
Oh, you spread it out through the weekend. I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's always next year. We'll get out there. We're going to do it together.
I think I'm going to take next year off.
Okay, never mind. All right, tell you what.
I'm never gonna drink again.
Let's book it right now. The four of us, 2026. We're gonna paint the town green. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. But it was a nice weekend. Boy, I woke up this morning and Daddy, it's cold out there. And now they're saying, here comes the snow, possibly later this week. By Thursday, we could be getting, a few inches. It's funny. 9 times out of 10, weathermen are like, by Thursday, you can count on getting hammered with snow. And now after this weird winter, they're very much hedging their bets. The quote I'm reading from a meteorologist is, the expected atmospheric scenario will be favorable for potential accumulating snow. They're so worried about getting people excited. Normally they're fluffing you before every possible storm. And now they're like, hang on, let's pump the brakes. Specifics with regards to snowfall amount, timing, intensity, and impacts will come into a better picture in the next coming days. Yeah. They're thinking Thursday, but who knows? After this dry spell of a winter, any snow, I think, would be most welcome at this point.
Yeah, it's spring. I mean, it doesn't even matter. I remember on April 22nd, we have a big thing called the flood run, a spring flood run, a fall flood run, third weekend in April. And we were out there plowing the parking lot because we got like 4 or 5 inches of snow the night before on April 22nd. Mm-hmm. But the spring snow, it's here today, gone by lunch,
We'll see. I'm not going to complain at all. Winter number 2 in town, and I'm like, come on, man, give me some.
Shut up.
I know.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, Candace has to walk in it for a second.
Candace, I'm going for the reverse jinx here.
She's like a construction worker or something out there slaving away in the snow. She has to get 15 feet from her car to the front door. Yeah,
I'm throwing the reverse jinx out there. I'm begging for snow just so I can,
Dude,
you're
not going to push you in it.
By asking for snow, I'm increasing the odds that there will be no snow. It's just like in 1994, I was in Los Angeles and I was commenting once to my coworkers that I would love to just feel a tiny little earthquake. Just give me one so I can feel what it feels like. And 3 nights later, the Northridge earthquake hit, and I was blamed forever for everyone for causing that earthquake. So maybe I should just shut up, actually, now that I think about it.
Oh, I don't know if I had that power. I certainly wouldn't shut up and be like, yeah, and you're going to get another one if you keep giving me grief. Yeah. Do something with your hands like you're going to create an earthquake, Well, that sounds like power to me.
I need to figure out a way to use my power for good. I don't know if you guys saw this. The inventor of karaoke, a Japanese businessman named Shigechi Negishi, has died. He was 100 years old. Oh. He invented the first karaoke machine in 1967.
I did not know that. For some reason, I never thought about the origin of karaoke. I thought it just happened organically. I don't know what but of course a Japanese individual. I didn't know that either. I thought it was something that was invented here in the United States, and then the Japanese culture really embraced it. But that's its home country. Right?
I mean, I think it was in sometime in the 80s, the first time I ever saw a reference to karaoke, or maybe it was in a scene in a movie, or I'm trying to think of, and then all of a sudden it was kind of everywhere. But yeah, 1967, at the company he worked, one of his employees made fun of his singing voice, and he thought, I'll show you. That's what I thought. The original name for karaoke, way better. Sparko, as in spark with an O on the end. The Sparko box.
Right.
The Sparko box, also, slang for, hoo-hoo. But no, I like this. By the way, one mistake my man made: never patented the invention.
Oh,
oops. Yeah, you were picturing him living.
Die poor.
You thought he had like a mountain villa. You thought he lived atop Mount Fuji. Oh no, never patented his invention. His daughter, in an interview, said, "Oh no, he never bugged him at all." The quote was, "He felt a lot of pride in seeing his idea evolve into a culture of having fun through song around the world." Clearly a quote from a publicist.
Yeah.
No, what that means is that guy was pissed off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope he at least had some vindication and showed everyone that he can indeed, or could, sing. By the way, my buddy Eric just texted me. You didn't think it came from Japan? The name of it is karaoke. All right. Thank you, Eric. I can see you're up and you've had your coffee. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, I hope he had some satisfaction. He didn't make anything off of it.
Apparently not. Just pride, man. Family pride still. A little later in the show, I do want to run down a list that was put together, the top 10 songs, the top 10 best karaoke songs for people who can't sing, which 9 times out of 10 means for people who do karaoke. And we can share those in a little bit. It's time to head west, young man. The Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Good morning, Candace, Steve, Tony, Zepp. Hope everybody had a great weekend. This report brought to you by Marcus Theaters. It's the best theater chain in the country. And I got some news for you, some movie news. Check this out. Box office top 10 films this past weekend included Kung Fu Panda 4 was on 4,067 screens. Dune 2 on a total of 3,847 screens. Bob Marley on 2,272 screens. It's been out, almost 2 months? However, I can't tell you how much I love the movie One Life. That was only on 983 screens this weekend. Its first week out, and it came in number 7 at the box office. It is the true story about a young businessman, Nicholas Winston, in Prague, Czechoslovakia, that just months before the start of World War II, was able to save 600 children from the Nazi invasion. Incredible true story. Sir Anthony Hopkins, Helena Bonham Carter, Johnny Flynn, all star. Wide release Friday. It'll be all over Marcus Theaters, just one of the many movies you can see at Marcus with those great seats. By the way, don't forget, Marcus Theaters, Tuesday, tomorrow, $6 for any movie. Look, I've heard for many years that Angelina Jolie can be a mean, vindictive person, and she has dragged her and Brad Pitt's divorce out for over 6 years now. Her latest move involves the multi-million-dollar French vineyard and winery that they bought as 50-50 partners, and both agreed to get the other's approval before selling their half. Well, Angelina apparently sold her half without Brad's okay, and apparently sold it to a Russian oligarch. And the story is a very shady Russian oligarch. Well, she's obviously just messing with Brad, and Brad says he has had enough. He's been keeping the down low, hasn't said much, but now he says he can't wait to get to court, go up against her and the Russian. It is on, and I can't wait to see how this thing plays out. Sports shorts, the selections are out for March Madness. You know what, I'd like to, maybe Steve, you and I should make a bet on who's going to finish up in the Final Four. Let's think about that, and the Final Four, that's going to be interesting. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Mike Evans, see you.
There you have it, the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. How about the Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers dancing, baby? Anybody else excited about the Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers?
Cool.
Come on, man. First time in 11 years. Longest drought in school history.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get excited when we have our own Gophers going to the NIT, baby.
I'm excited for my Hilltoppers. Also very excited for those James Madison University Dukes. Let's go, Dukes. 31-3 on the season, by the way.
Boy, how about that?
Only excited because I can tell you how much tuition costs for James Madison University. I'd like to at least get some, I can at least say I'm a fan now and get something in return.
They got a pretty good football program. It's D2, but they're right there in the playoffs.
No, they're
every year.
D1 now. They stepped up this year. They are officially they are, to your point.
Sorry,
yes.
I brought it up.
No, that's one of those things, man. Like, again, I'm obsessed with the James Madison Dukes for at least one more frickin' school year. Then I can forget all about it. Hey, that's how you do it. You know what I mean? Dad of the year, right here, guys. They're called the Dukes. They have a bulldog for a mascot. It doesn't make any sense. Dolly Madison, I don't get it. There's a lot of things I haven't paid attention to. That said, it's a perfect time right now to look back.
This man is a creative genius. This gift that Steve has, it goes beyond just sports
history.
You understand?
So, what happened?
I'll tell you what happened. On this day in 1985, Peter Ueberroth, who was the commissioner of Major League Baseball, reinstated 2 players who had been told, we don't want you around baseball anymore. Those 2 players were Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle. Did you know they had been shunned from Major League Baseball. It's insane, and it's because they both took jobs after retirement working at casinos in Atlantic City. Basically, they were glorified greeters. They were just part of the PR team. And the former commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, had told them, you can't work at a casino and be a part of Major League Baseball. They were retired. Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays. Baseball will get on a high horse like there's no tomorrow. I mean, just at the drop of a hat. They were reinstated. Fans had been furious. Mickey Mantle said that when he was told you're no longer in baseball, the commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, said, why can't you be like Joe DiMaggio and do a coffee ad?
Yeah.
And Mickey Mantle said, no one wants me to do. There's no offers. I would if I could. I've been retired 10 years. What's the matter with you? Anyway, they were reinstated. The fact that they were ever shown the door is mind-boggling to me. On this day in 1995, it was official that the door was reopened. Michael Jordan returned to the Chicago Bulls. He was not the Michael Jordan of old. It took him a little while to get back up to speed. The Bulls, he came back in March, finished the season. They were eliminated in the playoffs, but then, of course, by the following season, he was better than he'd ever been. They won 3 more in a row. All was well in the NBA on this day in 1995.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, March 18th. Billy Idol's Rebel Yell. Somewhere in the world right now, some drunk person is standing in a bar with a microphone in their hand singing that song. I guarantee it. It's a karaoke staple. Or is it? Now that I think about it, have I ever seen anybody do Rebel Yell at karaoke? I feel like I have. The reason I mention that is Shigechi Negishi, the man who invented karaoke, has passed away at 100 years old. A Japanese inventor. 1967 is when my man put together the karaoke machine. He originally called it the Sparko Box.
I love it.
Way better name, Sparko Box. You guys want to go to the Sparko Box bar? Come on.
I mean, my God, bring it back.
1967. I wonder what inspired him. Was it the Doors' debut album?
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. Something about that music makes me want to sing it in public. Or maybe it was Sgt. Pepper, the whole Summer of Love. People freaked out with the Summer of Love. Maybe that's what led to this whole thing, but never patented the invention. My man never made a dime from inventing something that has taken over the world, still goes strong. I thought karaoke was going to be one of those things when it kind of blew up. I said earlier, I think it was probably the 80s the first time I heard anyone reference it or mention it. And then by the 90s, it was kind of obvious. It was everywhere. It's amazing to think it's still something. But, I mean, it's not amazing because it's fun and people love doing it. But most fads or trends don't seem to last. But, boy, karaoke has never really waned, has it?
No, the first time I saw it, being done, I went, oh my God, this looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
And I had to get involved, and the station got me to host a karaoke night at a bar called Blondie's.
Oh,
in Brooklyn Park. I did that for like a year. It was incredible fun.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You still got it, man. You still got it. We've heard it. We heard it last year on the karaoke cruise. We heard it down in Nashville. That's the first time. I'll never forget where I was the first time I heard Tony sing Kentucky Rain.
Oh, man. I don't suppose you want to a cappella any of that for us right now, Tony.
Do it.
Santa Bar.
Oh, man.
The Santa Bar, yeah.
Santa Bar in Nashville.
Santa's Pub.
Santa's Pub in Nashville, yes.
Yeah, that's a double-wide trailer full of snow, if you know what I'm saying. That's why they call it Santa's Pub. Of course, you guys found it right away.
Yep.
So karaoke, we think of karaoke as one thing. And I've been in a karaoke bar in Japan on several occasions.
Oh, fun.
It is all business. It is very serious. It's seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Couples go in there together, and they sing to each other the most earnest, heartfelt. I am expressing my love for you, and they stand there, and people get so emotional. I mean, it's like it's a part of the courting ritual, at least as far as I saw back in the day, that you cannot. you can't overstate the significance to these people. This, guy gets up there, can barely sing, but he puts his heart into it. And, women are wiping away tears, and then they sit down and they hold hands, and it's like, and then the woman gets up and sings back to her man, and everybody's so enthralled. It's not drunken riotous. It's like, yeah, this is really something.
Yeah. By Nicolas Cage being mocked doing Purple Rain at a bar, said he quit. He would never do karaoke again after that. He said singing is therapy. It's supposed to be private karaoke. It's like a prayer. Here he is.
Karaoke was like therapy until someone videotaped my punk rock version of Prince's Purple Rain, and it went everywhere, and I said, I'm not going to karaoke anymore.
That is don't steal the gift from the world. Right. You need to keep giving.
Karaoke, singing is therapy, I think, absolutely. Karaoke is supposed to be private, it's like a prayer.
There you go.
Well, yeah. I've seen some karaoke that I wish had been private, but then again, at the same time, you mentioned on the cruise last summer, there was some shockingly great renditions of songs. I mean, it's like anything. It's like, you know what? It's no different than when you walk into a bar, you don't know who's a black belt. You don't know who knows how to throw a punch. Mm-hmm. The smart play is always just move on. You have no idea who you're messing with. Right. Karaoke's the same way. You don't know who's got that set of pipes, but man, every now and again someone steps up and you just have to go, oh, I didn't see that coming. And we had a bunch of that on the boat last summer.
No, but you kind of have fun picking them out when you go to a karaoke night because there are people that show up. They don't go out regularly. They're not like us regular lushes, that go out and get pie-eyed and that sort of thing, stumble around bars. They're sitting by themselves. They might have one friend for support. They look super sober, and they never take their eyes off the karaoke acts because they're there to sing. This is their chance. They couldn't get into a band. Mm-hmm. They had that one solo in choir when they were a kid, and everybody clapped, and they're trying to recapture it, and by God, karaoke keeps the dream alive. There's always like 3 or 4 of them at a good karaoke night, and they often can lay it down, and then you get the rest of us blathering drunks up there.
My former singer in my former band, Chris Robinson, one of the great moments of the many laughs we had over the years. We were at a Sam's Club in like 1998. We were working on a record in Atlanta, and we stopped by we had a band house. Some of the guys from out of town were all living in a house. We had to go buy some stuff, stock up on your peanut butter stuffed pretzels and whatnot. We're at Sam's Club, and there's a karaoke machine on display. And one of the guys who worked for the band walked over, and he said, "Hey, Chris, they have Hard to Handle," like as a joke. And Robinson just grabbed the mic and just went full on. And this is before everybody had video cameras on their phones. And it was just a great moment of just watching people go, what the hell is happening? And he just thought it was hilarious. I mean, it was great. It was like one of those, he was in the right mood at the right moment. Mm-hmm. But that was the karaoke performance. Like I just remember going, This won't happen again, so I got to appreciate it. It was, and it was in Atlanta, our hometown. And people just walking by and stopping. And when it ended, there was rapturous applause. And then people thought he was just going to put on a whole set. We had to then, of course, get out of there because it turned into a zoo. But it was like for a minute there, it was kind of fun.
Oh, that is fun.
The top 10 songs. If you can't sing, Forbes of all magazines came up with a list of things. They said, here are the top 10 songs, best songs for karaoke. If you are asked to go and you can't sing, Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, your number one.
Yeah, that's. I feel like you can butcher that. I've heard that one butchered every time you go to a karaoke night. The only hope you have there is to get the crowd singing along with you.
At least for the ba ba ba's. I mean, it's like
we're over it. No, we don't need to hear that song at karaoke.
Okay, number 2 then, Candace. if you're over Neil Diamond, what about this? By the way, this is an insane suggestion. "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi.
Well, he can't sing it. Why can't you?
Wow. Again, I guess because the sing along, it's a chorus that's just meant to be sung by a group of people, but But especially towards the end, they modulate up that higher octave. I mean, like you said, Zepp, I don't know anybody over 40 that needs to try that song right now.
Now it gets louder and louder, too, as the song goes on.
It exactly does. Number 3 on the list. Okay, now they're just trolling us. "Don't Stop Believin' by Journey." Why would you suggest a Steve Perry song for karaoke?
No, although I got, I forget his name now, got him a job with the band, karaokeing that, or I guess he was in a tribute band.
Arnell.
Yeah.
Arnell, that's
Arnell
right.
Pinero, I believe.
Yeah, don't try to ever, only in your car alone can you attempt, and of course we all do,
Yeah.
but yeah.
There was a time when I used to have the high register, but those days are gone. Nah, it's not there.
It's close.
Flirting
with it.
There was a time. Looked at me like Traeger anywhere.
Well, maybe with the music.
Yeah, maybe.
A little reverb.
Yeah, the karaoke guy would just troll me by killing it. I'd go a cappella.
Right.
That's right. Love Shack B-52s. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But if you're going to do Love Shack, you got to do the spoken word Fred Schneider.
Yes.
If you haven't down the way, how the hey, 15 miles. You got to do the Fred. I'll totally. You know what, Candace? If you want to sing Love Shack, I'll do the spoken word Fred part.
Okay.
I'll do the Tin Roof Rusted.
Oh, Zep's got Tin Roof Rusted. I got Fred.
Mm-hmm.
You be Kate. You be me for a while, and I'll be you. That's great.
All right.
Spice Girls, Wannabe.
Oh, yeah. I just watched Spice World.
Give me a little bit of that. How's that one
wanna
go
be
again?
my lover.
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta be with my friend. Friendship, something lasts for friendship never. Ooh. Yeah, I know that one. Well, kind of. I know what it is anyway.
Yeah.
Candace, favorite Spice Girl?
Baby, of course.
Really?
I was always Baby.
Oh, the Blondie vibe. She had.
Is that the one you don't put in the corner?
Correct.
All right.
That's exactly right. I Will Survive. No, you don't need to sing it. No, my God.
No. Yes, no.
Well, okay,
only right when you break up, again, by yourself in your living room, half a bottle of wine in you.
What was that when we were at Brainerd? We were up at Cragen's on Gull Lake in the fall. Big weekend at Brainerd, and the first night in town, we had a karaoke night at the resort. Candace, you guys remember there was a woman, a lovely woman who asked me to accompany her on a Rush song karaoke. Was it Tom Sawyer or Spirit of Radio? It was not an easy song to sing for anybody, but the number of lyrics, I was like, wait, this is the song you want to sing?
I had to buy her a drink because I bet her that you wouldn't get up with her.
Oh, that's right. That's the only reason I did. I heard that you would be out. Yeah, that's right. She asked me to air drum along while she sang a Rush song. And if it had been any of these songs, if it had been, for example, Don't Stop Believing or Love Shack, I would have said no. But the fact that she was going to get up there and just knock out a Rush song, I was like, holy smokes. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
I did see something else about that just reminded me. There was a what was the story? There was we have it on the list today about somebody in Minnesota. Cops saw a guy walking down the side of the road with a shotgun. There was a report in rural Minnesota. There's an elderly man. He's walking down the road. He's holding a shotgun. Police showed up. It was not that at all. It was just a dude walking down the street holding a stick, but he was in his own thoughts, not doing karaoke, but rocking some air guitar on a giant stick.
Awesome.
And he was a little embarrassed about it. He was described again, elderly male carrying a shotgun. He said, "No, I was playing air guitar." And then when the deputy pulled up, he threw the thing into the grass. So they thought, "Oh, he's getting rid of the gun." It was a big stick. He's rocking some air guitar.
Yeah.
Come on, you see an old guy walking down the road playing air guitar, high five him. Don't call the cops.
Yeah, let's give him a honk, on a big wave or something. Like you call it in. He's carrying a shotgun. Good eyes. I don't want to go hunting with this person. If you think a big stick is a shotgun.
If you don't know the difference between a shotgun and a stick, I played. I not only was a big air guitar guy, as I've said before, I was a tennis racket guitar guy. I used to just rock the tennis racket in the basement, and I would go deep. I mean, I would be so. I can't tell you the number of times the door to the basement opened and someone in my family just watched me rocking Madison Square Garden for about a minute before they'd go, yo, and I'd be like, ah! I'd lose my mind and snap me out of it. I got busted in college once. I was in my dorm room and my buddy had a tennis racket, my roommate, and we were rocking out, and I just was goofing around to be funny, but I was just I was rocking the air guitar, and I was showing him some of my best moves, and this was like a high-rise dorm room. I was like on the 25th floor, and I was rocking and rocking and rocking, and I looked across, and there was a woman's dorm across. It wasn't as tall, but it was probably 15 stories, And right down there, but I looked across at a window, and there were like 3 girls, and they were laughing at me.
Oh, they were watching.
They didn't realize there was someone else in the room. I guarantee you, they thought I was just all alone, rocking with my tennis racket. And by the way, this is how much it embarrassed me. My roommate was actually a guitarist. I then put on his guitar and acted as if I were playing guitar so that maybe they would think, oh, that wasn't a tennis racket. He's actually playing guitar. That's how ridiculous I was at 18 years old.
Oh, how funny.
I was like, I can't let them think, what if they see me at the student center? They'll go, that's that tennis racket guy. I can't have college girls laughing at me. Give me that Telecaster. Yeah, I had a little too much time on my hands at the time.
Has anyone received a trophy for playing air guitar? My freshman year of college, we won the air band contest, old time rock and roll.
Nice.
I was the air guitarist, and
does the air guitarist in old time rock and roll also just strip down to his whitey tighties and do that, or is that just the singer?
I did wear my tightest pair of Wranglers actually for that, so I don't know if I had room for tighty whities underneath. It was a rock show, Steve. I'm the guitarist. There's no underwear. You've got to.
I hear that song. I just go straight risky business. I'm sorry. I think.
Well, that would have been the play, right? If our lead singer we wanted him to do the slide in with the shirt and the underwear and the Wayfarers on, but it was a band. Well, this was Aberdeen, South Dakota, Northern State. They were risky times, and Daryl Tonema was his name. I would have certainly done it, but Daryl had the moves, and he pussed out on us. But we won first place.
Nice.
Got a little trophy out of the deal.
Here comes Wrangler. And Brian is one tough customer.
You know what? Here comes little kid or drunk adult this morning. 8 o'clock, we're going to do that. Be here for Chris Stapleton tickets. Coming up in April at U.S. Bank Stadium. Some epic Eagles tickets for a runner-up. That's not bad. Little kid or drunk adult. That's 8 o'clock. Coming up here a little sooner. Apparently, frustrated truck drivers are just dumping things in people's yards. We hear all sorts of things being delivered to people's houses en masse. Some guy just we'll tell you what he had dumped on his lawn. Very frustrated. We have some audio. That's coming. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Steve Gorman, this is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, March the 18th. Listening to Purple Haze for the 1 billionth time. I got that little itch. You want to do a little air guitar. We were discussing the pros and cons of air guitar, maybe getting busted. Air guitaring Hendrix is certainly better than someone just actually playing Hendrix. I mean, it's the rare guitarist who's going to go into a Hendrix thing and not make you kind of roll your eyes. A lot of people can play like Hendrix, but Hendrix did it first. He wasn't playing like someone else. He was just doing it. Lot to be said for that. It's like the old the line in the Bad News. Bad News was a precursor to Spinal Tap, an English version of a similar thing. And the guitarist character in Bad News says, Jimmy Page didn't write Stairway to Heaven until he was 24. I could play it at 19. It's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not quite the same thing. Just a thought, just a random thought off the top of my head. Zepp, you mentioned truckers, just annoyed truckers. You know, you always get a story. Every couple of years you hear a story about somebody just for whatever reason, just dumping a load of something somewhere. Like, it's too heavy. I'm mad at somebody. There's always like a so-and-so dumped something in a yard. When I was a kid in Maryland, we lived, our house was at not a four-way stop, but a three-way stop. Like, you walked out my front door, our house was on a hill. If you walked down our front yard to the street, you were at a three-way stop. Like, there was no road on our side. That was our yard. But you could go straight, left, or right out of my yard, if that makes sense, if I'm describing it. And when I was a kid, we did have a snowstorm, and a dump truck came through that three-way stop, and the direction he wanted to go was up a steep hill, and he couldn't make it. So he backed down, and in the middle of that intersection, he just dumped like half his load of rock salt. We watched it happen. We're like, what is that guy doing? He just dumped a mountain of rock salt. And of course, that was just an invitation. My dad, boys, let's go.
Yeah.
Wheelbarrow, shovels, put the gloves on.
For life.
We're going to need that rock salt. And we were wheelbarrowing salt up the driveway. Again, we didn't have a huge front yard, but it was a steep hill. And we were out there for like an hour just running rock salt into the garage. So we had salt for life. Like It snowed every other winter back then in Maryland, you know. I mean, these days it'd be a commodity because they get hammered in Baltimore. But in the 70s, it wasn't that common. And we just had, and like I'd bring friends over. Look at my garage. Look at that. See that in salt. So if it snows next year, we can put it on our drive. Our driveway's not going to have ice. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Dare anyone to eat any of it?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to taste
Just take one chunk, put it on your tongue. Well, a guy in Nevada woke up the other day. He did not have rock salt dumped in his yard, but this is a week ago on Monday. But he did wake up, look out, and see. I'm sorry, it wasn't at his home; it was his business. And he looked out and saw 100 pounds of sliced bread dumped on his property. 100. I mean, a loaf of bread weighs what? Not maybe a pound? Not even.
Very little.
100 pounds of sliced bread. Some of the loaves were in boxes. A lot of it was loose in the plastic packaging. 100 pounds worth. Now this was a business, a funeral casket supplier, which makes me think maybe this was a message. If Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes, what is this message?
It's ominous.
There's a lot. There's a lot of money in caskets. I don't know what this means. Bread. But he was confused. My man was concerned. He actually poked around the bread. Again, it's a funeral casket supplier. He thought maybe somebody had been killed and was buried in the bread somewhere.
Oh, here he is, Kurt Dennis.
I can't get rid of it. I don't know how to get rid of it. It's just too much. They just kind of chuckled under their breath. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know, why would that happen? They were thinking that I only talk about a little bit of bread, and I told them how much it was, and it was just they just kind of laughed. Oh, I know I can't get a hold of anybody, and I don't know what to tell you. And that was what Smith's rep told me.
So some of the bread did have what looked to be a little mold on it. Eventually, my man didn't let this go. A distributor came forward, said they had contracted a driver to handle this particular route, dumped it. The driver was found, and he said, I dumped it because I was mad, quote, didn't want to go through the process of returning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the driver called. Oh, here it is. The driver called a news station anonymously and said he was told dump the bread at churches and nonprofits, and if you can't find anyone to give it to, just dump it anywhere. But he wasn't being paid for it, so he said, "Fine, I'll do it. I'll just dump it anywhere."
It's first of all, it's not a church; it's a funeral casket supply business. It's not even a funeral home. And secondly, I think the idea was to distribute it. The word dump probably was misused. It was to give it to charitable organizations that might be able to use the bread, I suppose. But yeah, he's just feeling a little lazy. Close enough. Funeral, caskets, religion, good enough. Going to dump it all here. It's becoming a bigger issue. We had the story last year of the Amazon driver that just got tired of doing his deliveries, and these people weren't getting their Amazon products. And they found out that he was simply just driving out in the country and dumping it down a steep embankment. They found hundreds and hundreds of packages at the bottom of this embankment so he could go home, I don't know, and, fire up a bong and sleep all day. Or all of the businesses that are just dumping hundreds of, I don't know, yo-yos, thousands of yo-yos at some lady's door. She comes home, and what would you do? There's like 200 boxes of yo-yos in front of your home. It's we've got to do a bit more responsible in our dumping out there, I think.
I can tell you this, it's not easy to get rid of hundreds of pounds of packaged bread, and I know this from personal experience.
Yeah.
I truly can speak to this. When I was in school, so I was a college student for a few years, which is a really loose way of saying I was on a campus and I lived in a dorm and I had a Pell Grant and I played a lot of pickup basketball. That's really what I did. Nobody has wasted an opportunity at higher education with quite the panache that I brought to the game. But my freshman year of college, this is at Western Kentucky University. Toppers will be taking on Marquette in round one of the tournament. Friday, 9:30 p.m. Central. Can't wait. But I'm at Western Kentucky. Now, Western Kentucky plays football. They're Division I now. At the time, it was like that Division II. It was the smaller thing. Nobody cared about the football team. They had half a stadium. Literally, there was one. It was half a stadium. It wasn't even closed in. So this is how boring our life was. There was a game on a Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, as there always was. Friday night at about midnight, the phone in my dorm room rings, and it's a buddy of mine, Kevin Duffy. He was the goalie for the soccer team. He goes, dude, get to the stadium right now. I'm like, what? He goes, we're all going. Just big score. Go. That's all I heard.
Big score.
I don't even know what this means. But growing up in the time of Animal House, I'm always looking for something like this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It might have even been later. It might have been more like 2 a.m. But anyway, about 6 dudes all turn up in the lobby of the dorm room, and we walk a quarter of a mile across campus to the stadium parking lot, the football stadium parking lot, where a bread truck was delivering the hot dog buns for the next day's football game. Apparently, it was a late-night system somebody was aware of. The truck showed up early. There was no one there to receive it. They just left pallets of hot dog buns right outside one of the gates.
Uh-oh.
And drove off.
And near a college.
And we're so I mean we're like, well, we have to take all of these hot dog buns. Now it was 5,000 or 6,000 hot dog buns. and there were on campus to help kids move in. And we lived in a dorm that was like a high rise, so there were grocery carts on hand that would help you get stuff to the elevator. We had brought groceries, so we had several grocery carts, and we just started making runs of hot dog buns. A couple guys had cars. We loaded them up. We literally smuggled like 5,000 hot dog buns into the 23rd floor of a dorm.
I'm picturing all these people at the game just sitting there with a hot dog in their hand.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
They didn't have buns for the game.
and you guys didn't have hot dogs. Could you even afford hot dogs?
Yeah. It was like Goodfellas after the Lufthansa heist. We had to keep it quiet.
Right.
You know, we didn't want Kevin, the goalie of the soccer team, to start whacking us for talking. But it was and then so on this whole floor of a dorm, like every room you'd walk into, there's like 600 hot dog buns piled up at everyone's corner. We just all split the loot. And then it's like, well, we got to get rid of them. So for like a week, every night, it was like, it was hot dog night. Then it was fish stick on a bun night. Then it was like, we thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And this is the great thing about life in the 80s. We never got busted. No one ever found out.
Yeah.
How do 50 people keep it quiet that they have thousands of hot dog buns stolen from a stadium? It never came back to us.
You could have walked around campus and just every person you walked by would just go, bun?
Hand them a pat. Here's 8 buns. Do
you just kind of slide it? Yeah, from a kind of in their pocket, when they look the other way. And they, or have a BYOH party. You've got the buns. Just bring your hot dogs.
That's what it was.
Tap
I mean,
a keg.
it really was just like every night. It was just, what are we going to do with these buns now? And plenty of them. There were plenty that you dip in water, ball them up, and throw them at each other too. It turned into like hot dog wars. It was ridiculous. But when I look back on that, I love that story because no one really got hurt, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some football fans were pissed they couldn't get a hot dog at the game. But I mean, it was the best kind of crimes to me are the ones that are that makes no sense. This made absolutely no sense.
It's a crime of opportunity. It was just there. This is our moment. We can't sit around and wait for a truckload of cigarettes or microwaves or something of value. Hot dog buns is what opportunity has provided us, and by God, we're going to the hot dog. And college. I remember getting into trouble in college. When you got in trouble in high school, it would seem like a big deal to you. And then I got to college. I remember getting into trouble. I'm just embarrassed as hell to say it was, in fact, a panty raid. It was the 80s. We didn't know any better. We watched Animal House and all these things. It was one of these panty raids, by the way, that I think was set up by the girls' dormitory, and they had sort of paved the way for us to go on this rather mild. And we were all called over to the dean's office, about 5 or 6 of us, and we go in there and we sit down. And he's asking us a bunch of questions. Where are we from? What are you guys doing? He goes, all right. Looks at the clock on the wall, and he says, well, let's give it another 5 minutes or so. We're like, what? Another 5 minutes? After about 5 minutes, he goes, all right, well, that's all I've got for you. You can leave. We're like, oh, no punishment? He goes, no, we just want to make it look good. You've all been called to the dean's office, and you sat in here for about 15 minutes. Now get the hell out of here. I run a college. I don't have time to be dishing out punishment to panty raid idiots. But, so maybe they found out about the hot dog buns and went, pick your battles.
That's actually pretty good. The fact that they would have had to put most of the university's soccer team on suspension because I didn't
for the
play.
Hot dog bun caper.
Yeah, I didn't play, but everybody else on that floor did. It was like the soccer floor.
Yeah.
It was just great. It was like their way of screw you.
I would have set back soccer another decade.
It wouldn't have been hard. There's just mid '80s soccer culture in Kentucky was pretty threadbare. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
wasn't a lot of love for the beautiful game at that point. But I can remember very specifically, like just making soup and just dipping a hot dog. Okay, fine,
you
give me
could.
the bun.
That's food.
Just got to get through it, man. You got to eat the stuff before it molds.
Let's see what goes with ramen noodles. Hot dog buns.
I mean, the story. How much cooler would it have been if it was ramen noodles? Not to mention if it had just been beer or any number of things. But no, just buns. Just buns for days.
Great bun heist.
It was
the great bun heist. I know.
I mean, it was, and that was at the same time too. The other great shtick that was going on that fall that went on for a couple of years. I think I told you this was my high school, which was an hour away from where I went to college. We didn't have a football team. It was such a small school. We played soccer in the fall, not football. But that didn't stop my brother from calling the ABC affiliate and reporting football scores every Friday night for 3 seasons.
I love that.
So the station's an hour away from our hometown, and they would do Friday night football. We've got, it's Warren County beat Bowling Green 31-30. They just give the scores.
Yeah.
And I went to a small school that didn't have a football team that for 3 years was undefeated, according to an ABC affiliate in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And it went on, and finally someone from the station during the 3rd season called the school to go, man, what's going on with this team over in Hopkinsville? They're just killing teams. They called. And they called the office, and the person on the phone said, we've been waiting for this call. Sorry to tell you that we don't play football. But it turned into a thing. Again, everybody at my school, everybody that had graduated, still there. Everybody was aware of it. They watched Channel 13 every Friday night to see if we won again. And it somehow eluded no one ever. It took 3 years for the station to figure out there was not even a team. And they were winning games 71-6. They won a game 2-0. It was always just absurdity.
Fabulous.
That's the difference between that's small town radio right there. Not one person thought to call the team and do a follow-up story. Or I'm surprised you don't see them in the playoffs. They don't really seem to come around for the playoffs. They're such juggernauts, and they must choke in the playoffs. Or I don't know, maybe they did go on to win a championship. Called it in.
But the best thing was when you would see, like, our old friends from school, my brother would just pick a name at random and say that he had 7 field goals, 21-20 victory. And you'd be like, oh, all right. But you get your name on TV. That was a pretty big thing at the time. A whole bunch of names that nobody's ever heard of will be on TV this weekend. March Madness is upon us. The tournament, and I've been saying for years, like, college basketball used to be, when I was a kid, college basketball was far more important than the NBA. For real. Like, I loved the NBA, and I didn't recognize it at the time, but college basketball was everything. The UCLA dynasty into the 70s, into the 80s, the Jordan era, Carolina Tar Heels, Patrick Ewing, Georgetown, Ralph Sampson, Virginia. Think about those mid-80s tournaments. The NBA couldn't touch that for ratings or money generated. It truly wasn't. It took Jordan, Magic, and Bird to even make it close as far as importance, culturally speaking. That's
Phi Slamma Jamma.
Oh, my God. The Doctor's a Dunk from Louisville. These are great times. Nowadays, college basketball is nowhere near as significant because the players don't stay 4 years. We don't get to know them as well.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons for it. But that all changes now this week because the tournament still does get eyeballs. Everybody's looking for those Cinderella stories. My hot dog eating Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers in the tournament for the first time in 11 years. I'm very excited. They're going to play Marquette. The American Gaming Association predicts Americans will bet $2.7 billion on both the men's and women's tournaments. That's the above board money expected to be wagered. That's above board. That does not factor in personal or office bracket contest, casual bets with friends. They're saying the actual number is more like $15 billion.
Right.
And the funniest part of this is we as a nation are about to commit $15 billion to a sport that none of us have any idea what's going to happen.
No, I'm about to do a cram session here, so I kind of went over free agency on the weekend. Of course, they announced the brackets yesterday or the teams yesterday. And so sometime in the next couple of days, I'll receive my bracket from my buddy buddies that we do every year, and kick in my couple of bucks.
I got a hot tip. Don't let me, and I'll say it again
right.
every day until the tournament starts. It's not. I'm not taking my Hilltoppers, over Marquette. I'd love to see it happen.
Yeah, I'm not taking them either.
But I'm not going to suggest you do that. But every year there's always a 12-5 upset, and this year's is James Madison, Wisconsin.
All right,
the
Badgers.
Badgers will fall to the 31-3 James Madison Dukes. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, sorry. We got a text here saying, "Hey, Steve, remember Jim McDaniels, Hilltopper's greatest player?"
Are you kidding? The 7-footer took us to the Final Four.
All right.
I say us. I was not even living in the state when that happened, before my time. But, yeah, 73 Final Four, my Hilltoppers. In fact, Jim McDaniels was so great.
Who could forget that?
He was so great. He was such a great player that the university had to cheat to get him so bad they were put on probation afterwards for about 5 years.
Where did he do his pro ball at?
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
7-footer, big 7-footer.
Yeah. Went
up against Artis Gilmore in the Final Four, if memory serves. Yeah, big, sweet Jim McDaniel. From a man from the state of Kentucky, I believe, Scottsville, if memory serves. Now it's all coming back to me. Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
He had a minute in the league. He played with Seattle. I'm pretty sure. So yeah. But not exactly an Elvin Hayes or Moses Malone, if you will, for the day. But he was good in his time.
All right, I jotted that down. Madison over Wisconsin. Madison over Madison. James Madison over Madison, Wisconsin. I just like it because it's going against the Goph. So if you think that's the pick, I'm putting all my money. I'm riding hard because when I do the crowd every year, I don't know what's going on. I used to really know what's going on. We used to get at a bar together and do this like a fantasy football draft and spend half the day at Bullwinkle's over there figuring out our brackets. But I'll slap something together. I tend to do better if I don't do any crowd. I usually learn just enough from the couple of sports apps I have to really screw up a bracket and think I know something. But this is what I do know. James Madison taking down the Badgers. I like it.
I like it too. By the way, I just had to check myself. Jim McDaniel, not the 73 Final Four, the 71 Final Four. If you Google him, the first picture that comes up is him wearing the jersey of Snadiero Udine in Italy, if you want to know how his pro career turned out.
Oh, okay. Tore it up in Italy.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Hey, you can stream 92KQRS on your phone, and then you can listen anywhere you go. You can also, if you feel like it, just tell your smart speaker, hey, play 92KQRS. We're here for you wherever, whenever.
Why don't you use that phone right now to hop on the talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. It's game show time. Callers 9 and 2. This morning we're playing. It's Monday morning. Following St. Patrick's Day, we got to go with little kid or drunk adult. The tickets for the winner, Chris Stapleton. The man, Saturday, April 6th at U.S. Bank Stadium. Prize provided by Live Nation. Limited tickets remain. Our runner-up today, Epic Eagles. Friday, May 31st at Treasure Island Event Center. Prize provided by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck. And hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Monday, March the 18th. Big week ahead. We got Snowmageddon coming in, or maybe a couple inches of snow anyway. We'll find out. Pretty non-committal, these weather folk. They're going, there's some clouds over, out west that we might,
I feel personally attacked right now.
How's that?
Because I'm the weather girl.
Oh, no, you're just you're doing the best you can.
Yeah. No one considers you the weather girl, if that makes you feel any better.
Cool.
No,
or holds you responsible, I should say.
Don't, when they say don't kill the messenger? That's you right now. We're not going to kill you. But we may be getting some snow a little later this week. We definitely are going to have a big basketball tournament that everyone's going to freak out about for 4 days. And then go, first round, pick some upsets, then go chalk. Pro tip right there. The weekend was St. Patrick's Day, of course. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners, a lot of you guys out there had a blast. We all had very various levels of fun, by which I mean Candace had a great time and the rest of us did nothing of note. That's how that goes for various reasons. We all have our reasons. But a lot of people in St. Paul, I know enough to know after 1 year, that's a hell of a St. Patty's town. Or according to a recent study, well, the 22nd best town in America for St. Patrick's Day.
22nd?
Yeah. This is another one of those polls that makes no sense, but I'm always looking for a reason to get offended.
Was like Phoenix beat us out or something?
Yeah, it's kind of shocking. They did an entire thing. They look at 15 metrics to come up with the best places in America for St. Patrick's Day fun. The number of Irish pubs and restaurants per capita, to the cost of a 3-star hotel, even the local weather year in and year out, blah, 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 blah. Number one in the country, Boston. Okay, I get that. The city's full of mix, okay? Right. And, that makes perfect sense. Number two, also I get it, Chicago. I mean, they dye the river green. I mean, come on, it's hard to beat, right?
Yeah.
Number three, don't be surprised, and I fully endorse this, Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia has the 500,000 people a year show up for St. Patrick's Day. It's huge. Yeah, it's crazy. It's the greatest kept secret ever. Savannah, Georgia on St. Patrick's Day is insane. So that checks out. But number 4, Reno, Nevada.
Huh. Oh, yeah.
No. Well, Reno?
I don't know. How do we know they don't have a great Irish? I don't know much about Reno. I flew through there one time.
I just don't associate Irish folk anywhere barely west of the Mississippi. That's why St. Paul's in and Minneapolis is not. You know what I mean? Like you got to stay east. I mean, but then again, Tampa, number 9, Santa Rosa, California,
what?
no.
Stop.
13th, Knoxville, Tennessee. No, trust me when I say no. All the way down at number 22, St. Paul. That's just.
There's a lot of Irish pub franchises out there. They come up with these Irish pub, these gimmick bars, which are fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I think they've got to go with like traditional Irish pub dive bars. Then St. Paul. It's got to be top 10 in the U.S. But, if they start just counting up the Irish pubs, well, they're very fashionable, I'm trying to think of a couple of names of some Irish pub franchises out there where they might pop up out west, as sort of a thing, but doesn't count.
A little distressing, to say the very least. But that said, I do know for a fact that there was an awful lot of fun to be had over the weekend, and a lot of stories will be told for years over things that just happened over the last... Let's call it 72 hours. And with that in mind, it is time to give away some tickets. Chris Stapleton is at U.S. Bank Stadium April 6th. That's right around the corner. And then May 31st at Treasure Island, we've got Epic Eagles. We've got tickets to both for a couple of contestants. What do you think we should do today, Tone? What game should we play on the heels of a St. Patty's weekend?
Well, after the aftermath, I think this is probably the perfect excursion.
I'm not that intoxicated.
Mommy, I have to go potty. Daddy.
Drinks are on me. The KQ Morning Show presents Little Kid or Drunk Adult.
I'm so wasted.
What happens here, Zepparoo?
Well, we have 6 people that have shared an experience in their life, and it either happened while they were an innocent little child or a pathetic drunk adult. The lines are often blurred. We don't often have folks running the table, but 3 for each contestant, so we just need a couple of contestants, and away we go.
Bang! Candace, who is contestant number 1?
All right, we have Corby from Golden Valley.
Corby, good morning.
Corby, all right. Do you understand how little kid or drunk adult works? You heard us do this before?
All
right, here we go.
Let's go to Peggy, because Corby's not answering.
Corby might be a drunk adult right now.
I was just having a conversation with Corby.
Oh, you could hear him? We couldn't.
Yeah, Corby, said he's all ready to go, understands the uh-oh.
Wow. Well, we got
I've got the special button pushed.
I guess so. Hang
Is
on.
Candace a little kid or a drunk producer this morning?
Corby, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
I was excited.
Corby, you still there, man?
Hello.
All right.
He's just listening to all the chit chat. I could channel Corby, for you.
Maybe just interpret.
He thought that was funny. He laughed at me. Corby, you stay on the line.
It's really weird.
As you were, Corby, hold on a second. We're going to figure this all out.
All right.
Every now and again, things go awry. You know, it's like in the old courtroom dramas when they say you're just trying to confuse the jury. You let rabbits loose in the courtroom. You're just letting rabbits loose. You're chasing rabbits in the courtroom. That's what's going on right now on the board.
Candace did admit she was the one of us that went out and whooped it up and had a good time.
This is true, but I don't know who's been touching my board, doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing.
There's always, it's that weekend crew. It's always Monday, but you get the weekend crew in there, and they're just pushing buttons. Love the weekend crew, by the way. Serious.
I'm hearing a country song. Hands off Candace's board.
That's something Chris Stapleton might throw together.
He might. He'd rock it.
Because I'm wondering if we're going to hear contestant number 2 as a result. You see, with the same phone thingy going on.
We could try.
Or am I making Corby up as an imaginary friend of mine, and I'm just effing with you guys this morning, which is something I would do, but I'm not. I love it. He laughs at my stuff. Corby, you're part of the show now, brother. You just always stay on the line in my ear. No one else is. Kind of like my own Cyrano de Bergerac. Feed me some lines, brother.
Corby's your imaginary friend.
I'm loving
me
this.
And Corby forever. I wouldn't say that about these guys. Corby, what if they... come on.
Steve, Candace, Tony, and Brian Corby. With a slash in between. Little two-man unit there. It's like the movie How to Get Ahead in Advertising. Little Corby's on your shoulder, a little tiny, like a boil growing larger with every passing minute.
Corby thinks you guys are a boil. Yes, Corby O'Boyle.
That's it. Oh my God! I wonder if there's ever been a Corby O'Boyle. If there's ever a name that says corned beef and Guinness more than that, I'd like
Corby,
to know what it is.
What nationality is Corby? I mean, where's Corby come from? That's an unusual first name, if you don't mind my saying.
This is great. I love you having a conversation that only you can. This is truly what it's like to talk to somebody who has an imaginary friend.
Corby says he's about 3/4 Irish. It goes back to the old country. Corby, yeah. He says he likes me best on the morning show.
Yeah.
He wonders if I maybe shouldn't get a raise.
Hold on. I hear a laugh. Corby.
Did you hear that?
Corby, speak to me, brother.
Cackle.
I think we're
Corby,
good to go.
Right there.
Can everybody hear me? Or am I still imaginary?
No, there you are. Corby, good morning. Thanks for your
God, I did not need this today.
Man.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for this morning.
I think Candace needs her.
Corby. Right on. Corby, you're the MVP of the day, if for no other reason, for just not hanging up on us. Are you ready to play little kid or drunk adult?
I am wondering if I'm dealing with the whole bunch.
Well, there you go. I think that's a yes. All right, Zep, take it away.
That's right.
All right. Corby, here we have for you, little kid or drunk adult. This is Kira.
One time on the way back from a spring training game, I saw someone selling corn on the side of the road, and I got really excited. So I asked for the person driving the car if they could pull over so we could buy corn. And turns out the seller only sold by the crate, so we left that day with $30 worth of corn.
Okay, was she a little kid or drunk adult when she picked up some porn on the roadside?
Drunk adult.
I was a drunk adult.
Yeah.
Endless margaritas and spring training do not mix. We had to throw away half the corn.
I had to throw away half the porn. Yeah, Mom or Dad would not pull over. Corn.
It's corn. Look at this corn. It's not porn, it's corn.
Saying porn.
Really?
Yeah, it's corn.
It's corn here.
30 pounds of corn.
One time on the way back from a spring training game, I saw someone selling corn on the side of the road, and I got...
it's just the way I'm wired, guys. I heard porn again.
You have a crate of porn in your home.
Yes, as a matter of fact. Some people put their albums in there. I put my porn in the old milk crates.
You've got a choice. You can think of it as porn. You can think of it as albums by the band Korn, or you can think of it as corn on the cob. I'm going corn on the cob.
It makes a lot of sense, I guess. All right. Well, the important thing here is Corby's 1-0.
Boom.
As we move along to Dan.
Wait, are you sure it's not Porby?
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know. I thought I might have got it wrong. All right, it's my imaginary friend. Back off, man. Here we go with Dan.
I once bought over $1,000 worth of candy bars one night from the internet using my father's credit card without him knowing about it.
All right, so he bought a bunch of porn with his dad's credit card. Now, candy bars with dad's credit card without telling him about it. Little kid or drunk adult?
Little kid.
I was a little kid. I had just had my 10th birthday, and I did not think my parents did a good job with the presents. So I snuck into my dad's room, took his credit card, and ordered $1,000 worth of candy bars from the internet.
Ooh, that's $1,000 worth of candy bars.
Can I say one word?
Yeah.
Sociopath. My birthday was not what I expected. I'm buying $1,000 worth of candy. Watch that guy.
Keep your eye on him.
Man.
Gorby, my God. Feeling the pressure. 2-0 here. Can you run the table on little kid or drunk adult? Rarely done. We have now for you Alex.
I accidentally knocked over a glass of water at a fancy restaurant while trying to secretly fart.
Trying to secretly fart and knocks over a glass of water at a restaurant.
Drunk adult.
I was a little kid. So I had to fart, but I tried doing it on the down low, and somehow I got distracted and knocked over my desk water. I was so embarrassed I started crying, but the waiter kindly cleaned it up for me. But as he was walking away, I heard him say, I think somebody at that table farted.
Got the fart out anyway. Corby, 2 out of 3. Pretty damn good, man.
That's about as good as it ever gets around here. Hard to run the table. Corby, again, your patience, you have shown to yourself to be a virtuous man. Hang tight a little bit longer. It's time to go to contestant number 2. Remind me, Candace, is it Peggy?
Peggy from Ramsey, yes.
Peggy, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you feeling like you're ready for little kid or drunk adult?
I am feeling it.
Excellent. Good luck to you.
That's better than Candace and I are doing this morning between the buttons and the roadside porn. All right, Peg, here we go. This would be Taryn.
I got lost in a crowded grocery store and was later found crying in the toilet paper aisle.
Oh. In the fetal position, crying in the toilet paper aisle. Got lost at the grocery store, but as a little kid or a drunk adult?
Little kid.
I was a drunk and high adult. My brother came home from college. We went out drinking at a bar. Our mom picked us up, but had to stop at the grocery store on the way home. So my brother and I went in to buy more beer. Before we left the bar, he gave me an edible. It kicked in somewhere around the peanut butter. When I realized I was lost and alone, I started crying because I believed I was never going to get home and see my family ever again.
Drunk and stoned adult who still sounds suspiciously like a little kid the more she was talking.
Really does. All right, well, now you need these next two to force the tie for the Chris Stapleton tickets. This is Nina.
I ran through some sand dunes and had my bathing suit ripped off.
Running through some sand dunes and has the bathing suit ripped off. Little kid, drunk adult.
Drunk adult. I was a drunk adult. It was spring break in college, and a bunch of us had been day drinking and decided to hit the beach and look for guys. And I thought it would be funny to run through the sand dunes down to the beach. And right as I get to the end, my thong got caught on the branch of something and tore right off. The worst part is I screamed, and everyone turned and looked, and there I was with just my top on.
Yikes. The scream gave her up, yeah. Hard not to.
All right, Peggy, 1 for 2. This next one will tie you with Corby if you get it correct.
All right, this is a little longer setup here. Christina, the chatty Christina.
Okay, so I decided to get on, one of those banana seat bicycles, and I get on that sucker, and I'm going downhill, and I'm giving it everything I got, and all of a sudden there's a pull-behind trailer, and me and the trailer met. It wasn't a happy ending.
Rear-ended a trailer on a banana seat bicycle. Was she a little kid or a drunk adult?
Drunk adult.
I was a little kid. That was my first banana seat bike ever.
Oh, son of a gun. That one was a flip a coin right there.
I rear-ended a Chevy Blazer on a skateboard in 6th grade. Broke my arm. Have not been on a skateboard since.
Dangerous suckers, man. Those skateboards.
Oh, man.
Peggy, this is a tough game, and we just saw it today because I was with you. I thought for sure that was going to be a drunk adult, but the way she described it, it sounded like someone proud of how drunk they were.
I thought for sure it was roadside porn, but...
Well, see, there you have it. So what do we got here? Peggy, you are today's runner-up. You've got tickets May 31st, Treasure Island Event Center, Epic Eagles. Congratulations. Corby, my man, you have just booked yourself a night at the U.S. Bank Stadium Saturday, April 6th for Chris Stapleton. Oh, that's going to be a nice night. Thanks for playing. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
You got it. I want to get back to this roadside porn.
I'll be honest with you. It's I did forget this morning. Tony we were talking about it Friday, and he's like, "Hey, little kid." I'm like, "Yeah, perfect." And then we're kind of clipping along this morning, so I was scrambling behind the scenes a little bit to slap it together, and did not. And I never listened to the explanation for it, but yeah. So anyway,
I think yours is funnier. I just like the idea of a little kid. Pull over. I see porn. I need porn.
I remember listening to it. Yeah, I thought, well, this is a gimme. What parents are going to pull over for roadside porn? And I just listened to it again. You guys have very good ears. I do not.
Fresh porn.
Yeah,
side of the road.
Well, I know. Every August in New Jersey when it's porn season, oh man, they have the best porn and tomatoes in the country up there.
Anyway,
yikes!
What are you gonna do? We did a story a couple of weeks ago about a guy getting weird, kinky. Speaking of roadside porn, in the produce aisle, there's been a new development in the story, so we're gonna follow up on that story. And the kinkiest states have just been named. We're going to run that down for you here in about 15 minutes. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, March the 18th. Recovery day for a great many of us, Candace Wheeler included.
Whoa, man.
Just saying.
Throw me under the bus like that.
No, I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm lauding you. I'm applauding you. I'm saying, man, good thing one of us went out and had a proper St. Patty's weekend.
I should have went home. When you're out and then you think, oh, I should go home now. And then you make the decision not to.
Right.
That's what happened to me yesterday.
Really? What time a day was it the first time you thought, I should probably go home now?
Noon.
Wow.
How many times did you have the thought?
Like 5.
And so was this once an hour, once every 90 minutes?
Yeah, you just want to
Did you ever get home or did you just come straight to the station this morning?
No, I didn't even get home that late. I probably got home at like 8:30. But it was just, all day long you want to keep going, you want to keep laughing, you want to keep smiling. And just sometimes it's better to just go home, I think it would have been maybe. Well, it's in the past.
Live and
what
learn.
Can you do?
Live and learn. It's Monday. Just embrace Monday. Get your arms around a Monday, Candace.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I tell you what. I would have. I would have been very happily out bouncing around all day, but I wasn't because I'm old and I'm tired. And I was watching basketball. I decided, like a lot of Americans, I'm going to get ready for the basketball tournament by watching basketball for one day, some conference championship. Now I can fill out a bracket with confidence.
Yes.
Let's see. Where else have we got here? Oh, yeah. How kinky are we in the state of Minnesota, if you may be wondering? I mean, let's just get right into it. A sexual wellness website has released a list of the kinkiest states. It's called Bed Bible. This is not like let's shame you. They're saying, listen, this is all about Google searches for sex toys, things that, people are looking for online. A new study. It's just a matter of showing like who's just dealing with things like adults, based on this study. And this is a volume, average monthly search volume per 100,000 residents. The people looking for a little assistance in the bedroom, people looking to get their kink on. The state of Georgia comes in at number 1. Let me tell you what that is. That's the city of Atlanta and the city of Savannah. The rest of the state, no, not buying it. But those two places, yeah, just Freakville. Make no mistake about it. But I'm surprised to see it at the top of the list. I lived in Georgia for a long time, and this site is not trying to shame people, but make no mistake, there's some people in Georgia right now who are like, oh my God, I can't let them. Who found out? It's a different vibe down there in the South. I don't see Minnesota anywhere on this list yet, but Zepp, I can tell you what number 50 is.
Number 50 on this, the kinkiest states.
Number 50, the least kinky state in America, may or may not be a surprise to you. It's South Dakota.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not that we're not filthy-minded in South Dakota. It's just that we're just too lazy to do anything about it. You know what? Because in South Dakota, the missionary position is considered a little kinky. You know, it's just we just don't have an it's not even being lazy, I don't think so much as it's an imagination thing. You know, like I said, you go to any spice rack in the state of South Dakota, and I think 99% of them will be unopened. The little bottle things, it's the salt shaker. That's what's getting worse. They'll have a 50-pound bag of salt, not for the water softener, but just regular table salt there in the cabinet. But yeah, no, we're just not very imaginative when it comes to kink. You know, we'll do it the same position every time, over and over again. And by the way, to defend my home state, we'll do the hell out of it.
Yeah, well, sure, man. I mean, if you're talking about an agrarian, a farming community, that you don't change up the system year in and year out. It's about put your shoulder to the wheel, and by God, you push.
Look at the bull out there, just doing it one way every day, every year, in and out. Ben, they get the calves, you know, and then we get the burgers, and it's the circle of life. You don't have to get complicated. You don't have to get kinky. I bet Minnesota probably came in pretty good because Minnesotans, you know, they have the imagination.
Well, it's a very creative group. I mean, there's, you know, I've certainly the creative arts in every realm, pretty strong here in Minnesota. You've got Georgia, Nevada, New York, Texas, North Carolina, Colorado, Maryland. Yeah, the number of southern states, it's actually pretty surprising to me. The fact that there's any, much less 3 in the top 10. Yeah, didn't see that one coming.
Well, they do say that, you know, like Utah is one I use as for being, a bit kinky because Utah comes up in a lot of porn searches that they're using a lot. I think any states that have a little repression going on, those rural states, with the exception of South Dakota, obviously, and North Dakota, we just don't have the imagination. But they're naughty, and that's the computer. They can go ask the questions there.
I heard about Salt Lake City before I went there for the first time, and what I heard was, oh man, it's like a different city when the sun goes down. There, like to your point, it's kind of a repressive, if you will, a very conservative area. But then the freaks come out at night, and the first time ever in Salt Lake City, that was made very clear. We were opening for a band called Junkyard just on a club tour. This is 1990, and we played a club in Salt Lake City. And it was one of the few shows that was very sparsely attended, probably 150 people tops in a club that probably held 500. But every one of those people was there to party. I mean, it was intense, man.
Oh, yeah.
And every time back in Salt Lake City over the years, you just have a vibe of this could all go real sideways real fast. There's just a vibe. The gigs out there, they're it's not that they're crazier than in other towns, but because of what you're expecting, I guess you're just so surprised by it. And now that I think about it, they actually are a little crazier than other towns. You can feel people are looking for a little bit of adventure. Sun's going to come up soon. They're all vampires. They get it while they can, and then they get back, and then they get up and go back to work the next morning, and just talk about Joseph Smith, I guess. I'm not sure what's going on.
I mean, they don't repress that in Minnesota. You let it out. I mean, you can do it in the middle of the day. You can have sex during the daytime if you want with someone else. It doesn't matter. But, So, I mean, and what a wonderful time to be kinky.
You can hear?
Yeah, you can if you'd like. Yeah, if you can find a willing participant.
You
or
fill
do
out
it
the
yourself.
proper forms. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Okay. You get permission.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Oh boy, I don't even know if I want to slide into this other story.
Speaking of kinky.
Yeah, really. Super. Well, now let's go from the kinky to the flat out. This man's got some troubles. A 32-year-old man in Colorado was busted last month, facing a slew of charges. My man is there's a lot of video apparently of him in a grocery store in the produce section.
Yeah.
Fruits, vegetables, even baked goods. He's having his way with is the best way to say this.
What
I mean,
in the hell? take it home. Buy it, purchase it, take it home, and go nuts with the zucchini or the kumquats or whatever's on your mind. But so this isn't about sexual gratification. This is about, knowing that other people, like these weirdos that pee in someone's work bottle at work or something like that, or worse.
Well, there's actually a wrinkle to this. He was originally picked up for public self-pleasure, if you will. He was seen outside of a coffee shop. Police were called. They nabbed him as he was nabbing himself, apparently. This led to a search of his home, and he was not caught at the grocery store on security from the stores. He had videos himself that he had collected.
Yeah,
going around to various grocery stores. And now he's in real trouble because you're doing something like that in public. The fact that there are going to be minors just anywhere in the store means that's a charge against. It's about, you bring the word minor into anything, and it gets real serious real fast.
Yeah.
And so this is just beyond. This isn't kinky. This is just my man's got some issues. And for the record. Yeah, video that doesn't. No one forgets that. No one gets by that. You're like the guy.
How could he's videotaping himself doing it? I couldn't. That would be difficult. It's hard enough for me to take a selfie, let alone try and videotape myself. All right. Well, here's the police chief.
You see, Mr. Masalta was an employee at 1426 East Harmony Road, the Safeway. It was items of food that weren't commercially sealed. Again, we have many more videos to go through, but in what we have already seen. We have multiple victims, and we have multiple felony charges against Mr. Masalta.
All right. Who's got the job at the cop shop going through the videos of the serial masturbator in the produce aisle?
The name Masalta, oddly enough, perfect rhyme with assaulta.
Right.
Yeah.
And man, everybody that went to high school with him is on a text thread right now.
Oh, my God. If he ever offered you an apple and you ate it,
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, right.
All right, I gotta move on. I need to get
fair enough.
I need to get something a little more wholesome. Elizabeth Hurley, actress, remember her?
Sure.
She's just shot a new movie, and there was a sex scene in the film. She's 58 years old and still very comfortable in front of the camera with partial nudity and involving sex scenes. The latest film she made was directed by a young director named. He's 21 years old, directing this film. His name is Damian Hurley. Same last name.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh, it's her son is directing her in sex scenes on film.
Well, it's a make-believe. It's movies. Yeah. It's not porn, but, can you find someone else?
She said
body double?
She said him being there meant that she felt safe and looked after. It's kind of liberating to work with your family. I'm relaxed in front of him. It's relaxing knowing someone is behind the camera who looks out for you. Now, I understand that the incredible vulnerability that might come on a film set doing a nude scene or a sex scene. The anecdote to that, to me, would never say, well, then put my kid behind the camera.
Yeah,
I would think
creepy.
there'd be something else. I don't know, someone else.
Hey, you guys, all right.
Not judging, just saying, not me. Not me so much.
Different strokes for different folks. Yeah, I'm sure.
Again, the strokes. You had to go there. You just couldn't help it, could you?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, raised differently, I guess. But yeah, here's the problem with the story. This was a positive move on for you from the last one. This one's bothering me more because I'm not the only mom. I mean, imagine directing your mom in a love scene.
No, I don't. I can't. I won't.
No.
Stop. Now, don't even think for a second that's going to become an image in my head. It's not possible.
Remember, years ago, Shirley MacLaine used to talk about how she'd like to do someday a love scene with Warren Beatty. That's your brother.
What?
Well, all right,
but
not a real love.
I forgot.
Why?
I forgot, but I knew there was something weird about it. I was like, wait, that's weird. Why? Oh, that's right.
Spur Reynolds. Why did you pick Warren Beatty? Sure, a heartthrob in his day, but you had a whole slew of Hollywood guys you could have. And we get busted by Shirley MacLaine on this show many years ago for Himalayan humor, as she called it, base humor, hung up on us after we were interviewing her for writing a book with her dog. And we said, oh, you wrote a book with your dog? She said, yeah, I wrote one chapter, and then my dog would write a chapter. And then, as you know, she loves reincarnation. That's her thing. She's a strong believer in reincarnation. Her dog had been reincarnated from apparently a very talented writer and could communicate with her. And we made a joke about it, and we're accused of Himalayan humor, but nobody here wants to do a love scene with their sibling that I'm aware of. We at least have the decency to keep it to ourselves if we do.
All this base humor. What on earth? Haven't we reached a higher level of cognizance? This is like Himalayan humor.
There it is. God bless her.
A higher level. No, you're
you wrote a book with your dog.
It's called ayahuasca, and you enjoy it, and that's great. But
yeah,
I'm sorry. I've loved every dog I've ever had. My God, the amount of attention and adoration we laud Chauncey Gorman with on a regular basis. But let me tell you something. If that dude came to me and said, let's write a book together, I'd say, no, man, you're a dog. It's not going to happen. I'm clearly high as a kite. This isn't happening. You're licking your nuts, and I think you're trying to get me to write a book. No, the answer is no. That's just how that's going to go. Yeah. Here's an indication of just how old I am. The Strong National Museum of Play. This is like the toy, basically, the museum in New York of the toy. They have the Hall of Fames for various things. They have a division of Hall of Fame video games. They have listed 12 finalists for the World Video Game Hall of Fame this year. You can go to their website. You can vote. I looked down the list of the 12 games nominated. I have played 2 of them. And in fact, I had to look up what most of them were.
Yeah.
That's kind of a drag. Asteroids, shockingly, not in the Video Game Hall of Fame yet.
Already?
I don't know how that's possible.
What was before that? Pong? I mean, that's one of the early ones. Of course, that was I think it was early 80s. It had to be early 80s, you know.
Released originally in 79. But so it took over in the 80s. It was bigger. It took over for Space Invaders. That was the game for a while.
Oh, yeah. Asteroid. I mean, that was the one that we got. I forget what it was, a Nintendo, whatever we had, our first video game at home with the cartridge and our little joystick with the red button on top. Maybe that was Atari, now that I'm thinking about it. But Asteroids and Pong. I mean, I think those were the 2 games that came with the console. And Asteroids for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah. Candace?
This list is cool.
Okay, that was going to have to go to you. Okay, here's Asteroids. I know what that is. The only other game on this list I've even heard of is Guitar Hero.
What? You haven't heard of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, dude?
Yeah, Tony Hawk's, that's a pretty big one.
But I didn't know of it as a video game. No, I didn't.
He probably made more money on that video game than he ever did out pro skating, I'm sure.
Fun.
Of course, Resident Evil is a classic. I think they're up to. In fact, I just replayed Resident Evil 4. Still gaming. I know. I'm a DJ. I've got a lot of free time on my hands. But I just replayed Resident Evil 4, which was just re-released for PlayStation 5. But that one's iconic.
Oh, Sim City. I have heard that. That's like Sims, right? I've heard of that, where you just create.
Yeah, some of these are computer games. Like, Neopets was my favorite game ever, but it was a computer game. And you just take care of these weird little creatures and stuff. And
it's still
like SimCity.
It's still a video game, so it's a finalist.
I'm gonna play it tonight.
I can't believe I still can't get over Asteroids not already being in there. I mean,
just because what came before. I mean, how long has that one just been kind of? It's like Foreigner in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's just been hanging around too long. I mean, who's voting against Asteroids? It was just. I mean, when I think of video games, it starts with Asteroids for me. And then from there, I guess the arcade games. We were doing the arcade games before we got them at home. So we had the Centipede and the Pac-Mans and all of that stuff. Galaga, and you had mentioned one that we had played before. So I guess these are the home games. But at home, Asteroids, 1979. Yeah, that feels like that's long overdue.
I love Galaxian. Is that in there?
It's not. Let me see. I'm trying to look. I can see if it's been inducted so far. I don't see Galaxian yet. Maybe
Barbie
later.
fashion designer is in. That went in last
that was
year.
Awesome. I love
if you
that
say
too.
so, but I'm just saying before Asteroids, Barbie fashion designer goes in. That came out in the mid-90s.
Yeah, the 90s. What a time to be alive.
The first year that they had the first year on the website that shows games going into the Video Game Hall of Fame is 2015. Here are your 6 first games. Pong. Duh.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Gotta be. I mean, they launched the video game industry on Pong. Second game, Doom. I don't even know what it is.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a first-person shooter. It was one of the early shoot-'em-up games, that's kind of started that genre.
Okay, Pac-Man. That totally checks out.
Yeah.
Tetris, damn straight.
Yeah.
Completely addicted to that in 1989. It was problematic and
I
troublesome.
still can't go near it, yeah.
Oh, no. If you handed me the original, and it got so complicated. If you handed me just the original straight-up first version Tetris Game Boy, I'm gone for 6 hours.
Right.
I have nothing else going on. Also, that very first year, World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And then Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
that all makes sense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those are big iconic games. I think last year's class had the Barbie fashion designer and The Last of Us, which was a video game, and I believe I forget where the show was it on Max, I think.
Yeah, the show is great.
Yeah, the show's great and really follows the video game, very closely that first season. I know they're going to do another season. So I see what they're doing here, which is smart if you're going to put a video game in the Hall of Fame and you have Barbie coming out, which is the #1 box office movie of the year. The Last of Us coming to streaming. You get people reinterested in these games and re-released. So that makes sense that Barbie fashion designer just went in last year.
Going back to video games that were in, say, the video arcade, at what time in life were you at your apex and what game was it? Like one quarter would get you the most time spent on what game? For me, it was Dig Dug.
Dig Dug?
I could play Dig Dug for hours on one quarter. It was ridiculous how good I was at Dig Dug. And the little song, when I started playing Dig Dug, I would lay in bed at night and the screen was in my brain.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's that, they say like these things can be addictive. Your brain just grabs it. I would lay in bed at night and just see the board and be like, turn this off. Oh my God. And I'd hear that song. And then when the game started, I would just hear it all day long. Crushing Dig Dug in the summer of '82. Tony, what was your best video game?
College Galaxian and the tabletop.
Hold on,
version.
Galaxian and Galaga were not the same game, but they were very similar.
No, they were not.
Galaxian was first. It was a little simpler.
Yeah. Now, is that the one where you could shoot the one and then he would join you and you'd have 2 guns?
Oh, let's go 2, baby.
Yes,
you double barrel
into the warp.
Yeah,
and you're unstoppable.
That was pretty strong.
And the gun was
that's exactly what it was. What's your longest time spent on one quarter games up? What was it?
Undoubtedly Missile Command. I ruled Missile Command.
Oh my God.
And that wasn't my first pick, but when I would go to the arcade, I was a farm kid. So all the city kids, the town kids, they got to go to the arcade all the time, and they would dominate Miss Pac-Man or some of the other higher, profile games that everybody wanted to play, but not a lot of people were hanging out at Missile Command. So that's where I would migrate to Missile Command, and I owned Missile Command. I'm bragging here, but there were times when people go, Zepp's on it. Get over there. Watch. Zepp's on Missile Command. He's doing it, man. He's going for that, whatever it was. Those levels that nobody got to, and they're like, it does that. I'm like, oh, yeah, it does that.
And by the way, not a fun game. It was very Red Scare, worried about, nuclear fallout. It was depressing. Like,
it was.
If you lose the game, then you're nuked. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to.
A very eerie music behind.
Oh, yeah. It was very dark.
And it just kept going faster and faster and faster and more until you were doomed.
Man, that's amazing. I haven't thought about Missile Command in so long. I can still see exactly where it was at the family hub.
My God, I'm going to be on eBay
tucked
now.
into the corner.
I'm thinking about buying a Game Boy Advance because I was obsessed with my Game Boy, but I had the advanced one, and I played Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance, and Yeah, and then all the Pokemon games. But before that, I dominated at Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Mr. Steak. We would go out to dinner all the time, and my dad would just bring a ton of quarters for me to go play.
Yeah. Who went there outside of their birthday?
Wow.
We went there a lot.
We go there at a birthday, Mr. Steak.
Mr. Steak is new to me. Please educate me.
I don't even remember. Was it in Blooming? I don't even know where it was, but I can see it perfectly in my head. And they had a Miss Pac-Man game out there. And just tons of quarter every day. Like, you would just bring all these quarters, and I would just go play.
Now, is this MR period or MISTER steak? Like, how did they spell it? Mr. Steak.
It was like MR dot.
MR period. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Steak.
And you ate for free on your birthday.
Oh, hence the who goes there if it's not your birthday.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. Okay, fair enough. The Chuck E. Cheese of the steak world, apparently. Well, minus the animatronic weird animals. All right, fair enough. Yeah, man, video games. Gosh, there was a Mrs. Pac-Man at the pool as a kid. They had the little snack bar for some reason had a video game, and it was what they just had one as a kid growing up. And man, Mrs. Pac-Man, I was in high school. And that was the rage. Way better than Pac-Man to me.
Miss Pac-Man.
Whatever. Lady
Miss.
Lady Pac-Man was way better than Dude Pac-Man.
It is. It's more fun. I don't
is.
know why.
There's no question. The men's basketball tournament, speaking of fun, as well as your chance to win $1 million, is back this week. Enter your picks for our $1 million bracket challenge at 92kqrs.com. Make a perfect pick. That's $1 million bracket. Sponsored locally by Xfinity 10G, the network made for streaming. Contest rules at 92kqrs.com.
Monday mornings can be a grind getting back into work, especially if you did a little celebrating this weekend. Perhaps you're driving in this morning thinking, what's the most remote job on the planet? What's that job where no one will bother me and I'll be forever left alone? They're hiring, and we've got that information for you coming here at the top of the hour. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, March the 18th. Get ready. We're going to get some snow this week, maybe. I'm excited. I'm the only guy who cares, who's excited about it. I'm still just trying to get all my winter on. Apparently maybe this is going to be the week where I feel the way I'm supposed to feel in March. The tournament starts this week. We're on the St. Patrick's Day hangover circuit pretty much, and maybe we're going to get snow. That's basically the long and short of this week. If you're looking for work, if you're looking for a new gig, and if you are kind of sick of, what's the word I'm looking for? Humanity. If you want to be alone, for God's sakes, let's say not only do you want to be alone, but let's say you really enjoy cold weather. Let's say that
you've got my attention.
Let's say that penguins fascinate you. Let's say that showering is not near the top of the list of things you need to get done in a day.
Go on.
I'm 3 out of 4 so far.
Okay, the United Kingdom, let's call it the UK for short, the UK Antarctic Heritage Trust is accepting applications for 3 positions at Port Lockroy. That is a very small British base on Goudier Island in Antarctica. The island is home to the world's most southerly post office. And
get a lot of mail, do they?
Somebody has to manage the post office. Check this out. Even despite the remote location, about 80,000 letters a year go through that post office.
Wow, it's a lot of junk mail, isn't it?
Well, here's why. This is really weird. The island receives cruise ship passengers who go down there every year because there are 1,500 penguins on the island, and people love going to this place to hang out with the penguins. So the cruise ship passengers come down, and they both send and receive mail there based on their schedule. Like, there are people in the world who say, I'm going to Antarctica to see penguins, and if you want to send me a letter, send it between this date and that date, and I'll get it on my journey. Won't that be fun?
Are these researchers? Because if that's your idea of a vacation, and then you think you should receive, no one receives mail on vacation. But I suppose these people want to. How much can we know about the frickin' penguin? Watch the movie where Morgan Freeman narrates. It's all in there. I don't know. Sorry.
No. There's only so much excitement for a flightless bird. I mean, you're a bird. The one thing you got on us is flight. If you don't have that, then you're just a squirrel who looks like you're wearing a tux.
Yeah.
Applicants must be available to work from November of this year to March of next year. So it's only like a 5-month gig. On the website, it says you must be able to endure extreme isolation, lack of running water, lack of washing facilities, and also, and apparently this is a pretty serious situation, the stench of penguin poop.
Oh.
Is that I would think, growing up on a farm, I will tell you that the stench is almost non-existent during the winter. It freezes, right? We just don't get that. Well, living in the city, there's not that summer funk in the air, I would think that'd be the case down there, but maybe penguins poop differently, Maybe.
Could be.
What are they eating that stinks? What's a penguin? Fish. Oh, fish, yeah.
Listen, my fish poo is nothing to write home about. Trust me.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
A little escalar, perhaps.
Well, no, I learned my lesson. Trust me. The escalar and me, we want one and done is what they call that one. Actually, now that I think about it, if you want some vigorous detail, when I have a lot of fish, I find myself to have very clear evacuations, very clean, just wonders for my system.
Yeah,
it's great.
That keeps you regular.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of that person who is that person? Wouldn't you want to? I wouldn't want to interview the person that is attracted to extreme isolation. I don't know.
I got to think there's a lot of I'm turning it into a Hallmark movie. I'm imagining the guy, what's his name, the actor, real handsome fellow, like Rob Lowe, recently widowed. I got to get away, and then he goes down there, and there's a penguin researcher, probably like could be an odd, an actress you don't expect to see in a Hallmark film, like a Jessica Chastain. They just gave her a fortune, backed up a Brinks truck. I could see it.
Yeah. She takes her glasses off.
Oh my!
Suddenly, the magic.
I thought she was kind of cute and perky, but now she's just a flat out model.
Yeah, and by the way, it has penguins in it. Who doesn't like seeing penguins? I don't want to go visit penguins, but every time there's a damn penguin movie that comes out, it's box office gold, man.
When Rob Lowe finally makes the move and he's kissing Chastain and there's a fireplace, you look out the window and the penguins are like swooning and doing a little dance. The penguins are all excited. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like this. This is a good story.
Well, penguins made for life. It's adorable.
He wanted to get away from people forever, but he found his soulmate. Penguin examinations.
I think I take it the Shining direction, maybe. Let's make a horror film out of it.
Well, whether you want to or not, that's where it's leading.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. That is. I am not. I like downtime. I like alone time for a few hours. I have no problem being alone, recharge my batteries, whatnot, read a book, watch a movie. I'm totally content on my own. But the idea of truly being alone for more than, if I went 3 days without seeing or interacting on any level with another human, I'd probably start thinking about chopping down the door with an axe real fast.
Yeah.
I'd go full on Shining. I don't think it would take long.
Chastain's frozen head there in the snowbank.
Wow.
And then there's Tony.
That's like a weekend. That's not 3 days in.
Don't ever leave Tony alone for an extended period of time.
Man.
It's her imagination. I did 4 months by myself, unemployed, in a camper in the mountains, skiing in the winter. And it's fairly isolating. The weather's not, you're not sitting out on the deck and, really taking in the mountains. You're either outside to, get into it or you're inside. A lot of time inside in a cold, if the thermostat had a 5 in front of it in this camper in the winter, it was a good day.
Wow.
Normally it was, you woke up in the morning, it was about 46 degrees, and you'd get your little stove going there or whatever. And that was 4 months that felt like, and I'm built for this, man. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to, figure stuff out, and I'm going to probably write a book or something. No, after about 2 months, I was, begging for human companionship.
Yeah.
It's one thing to think you're, the kind of person that likes to isolate yourself. It's another thing to isolate yourself.
Yeah, never something I'm going to willingly put myself through. I cannot imagine it.
I'm glad I did it. It was a wild time.
How old were you? When was this?
After I got blown out from KQ in 17, so that first winter of 17, 18.
What's the longest you think you went without a conversation?
Well, I didn't have cell phone coverage, so that would be at least, but I would pop into town just about every weekend. But there was one weekend I didn't. I got snowed in, so I'd probably say about 15 days.
Wow.
Whoa! Yeah, that's a really long time.
And I take that back because we had a rancher down the road that came and checked on me. So in that 15-day period, Scott came down and had a little chat with me to make sure everything wasn't frozen and all that good jazz, and also brought me some beef brisket, which is most welcome. That's so good. In 15 days I had a half-hour interaction with someone, but most of that was spent, alone.
I was thinking about all the things you could do, like you would bring. If I knew I were going to be alone for a few weeks at a time like that, I would think, well, books, music, some movie. You think about this stuff, but then I saw something about childhood toys that you still love, kids' toys that you like, and what would you want to have. And we heard from somebody sent an email about a toy car show coming up in Crystal pretty soon. All these great old Hot Wheels sets, stuff from childhood. You know what I could do I can do this for hours on end is just coloring books.
Yeah, same.
Oh, we should have a coloring
Love to
party.
color.
I have some. I have a Danny DeVito coloring book. Just different faces of Danny DeVito.
I have a Bill Murray coloring book.
Oh, I've seen the Bill Murray one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an adult coloring book. Yeah.
Bill Murray, I get. DeVito?
So this is what happened. I posted on my Instagram story, if you love me, you're going to get me this Danny DeVito coloring book. Mm-hmm. And second date with the, who, he got it for me. He brought it for me.
I mean, you did actually lay that down. He had to, really.
You dated Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
With a beard.
Wow.
He's very funny.
Man, that's incredible. A Danny DeVito coloring book.
Attentive.
And so,
yes, I love it. It's it takes my stress just melts away.
I had a very long flight where I sat next to a kid who had a bunch of coloring books, and he sat down. I'm on the window, he's in the middle, his mom's on the aisle, and it was coast to coast to Southwest flight. So you're going to be in there 4 hours plus. And the kid literally, right after takeoff, he goes, "Do you want to color?"
Oh,
and
nice.
I looked at him, and he had a whole backpack, just crayons and coloring books, and I went, "You're damn right I do." I said it was, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot." And I looked up and we were landing. I worked a whole coloring book for hours.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you tell him his looks stupid? You're outside the lines. You suck at this.
I did not tell him that. I didn't have to. I was snickering and laughing. I looked at his mom and rolled my eyes every time he'd pull out a new color, a new page. Oh, you messed that one up, punk.
Your work is still on the walls in your new place.
Oh, I can literally sit for. Now that I'm picturing it, it's been so long. My kids are way past that age. I didn't color as a kid. I don't remember ever having a coloring book, ever. There were crayons in the house, but I don't know what we did with them.
Right.
So probably. When our kids got into coloring, it was like a new thing for me. I was like, oh my God, this is my Zen rock garden. I will sit here and color all day, just content. And I love it.
When you color, I just remember the trick in school. Never got into it too much. We didn't have, it just wasn't something our parents bought for us. But I remember at school doing some coloring very young, and the girls would trace the outline with the crayon and then color inside it, and that gave it. Man, that made it pop. And then, mine was just, I just remember hurrying through it. I was like, recess is like in 10 minutes. Everything's red. They were worried about.
No, big outline for me. And in fact, but I do have a memory too of being in school, probably kindergarten or maybe first grade, and I remember the teacher saying, "Does anyone know what it is to outline the picture?" And my hand went straight up like, boy. And I was going to say it's when you go outside the line, like when you cross. It's like I thought that meant it was a mistake. You outlined it. And someone else said, it's when you draw a sketch around the line. She gave the right answer. And I've never been more, thank God. I would have given the wrong answer. I mean, that's a very, very visceral memory from, like what, 1970 or 71. And I can still feel the relief of having not been called on with the wrong answer.
You avoided disaster.
I truly avoided disaster. As far as like most embarrassing moment of my life, that is thankfully not on the list.
I know. This morning we were playing a game show, and it said they were selling corn on the side of the road, and I thought they said porn, but I didn't say anything. I'm so glad I didn't.
No,
could you imagine?
It would have been crazy.
I would have thought it was porn.
And it would have been crazy if not only you thought they said porn, but then argued it.
Had to listen to it again before you believe it.
And when I listened to it for a third time while we were rocking out there after that, and I swear I'm going to stand by porn.
Okay, fine. But the porn shop right on the side of the road. Fresh porn just in.
Yes. About a couple of crates of about 30, 40 pounds of porn.
Do they have porn coloring books? I imagine they do.
Dude, Google it. It's, there's, I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to bet $1,000 yes. Well, that's how confident I am.
I don't know either, but I can answer that question with this question. Does the Netherlands still exist? If the answer is yes, then yes, they have porn coloring books. They've got everything over there in the Netherlands. You know what we have here in the Twin Cities, specifically at the XL Energy Center? Monday, September 30th. Holy smokes, Jeff Lynne's ELO.
Sick.
Wow. Yeah, sick. Electric Light Orchestra. I believe it's now officially Jeff Lynne's ELO. Monday, September 30th. And right now on the KQ92 Talk and Text line, text the word evil. As in, text evil to 651-989-ROCK for a chance to win tickets. Evil, 651-989-ROCK. Your text right now for a chance to win tickets to see Jeff Lynne's ELO. Sweet.
All right, thank you. You gave me plenty of time to Google porn coloring books. There's so many different directions we can take that. Can I shove it up your... vajayjays?
What?
It's just a fertile crescent coloring book of vajayjays.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm not even going with the Oprah word there. That's the name of it. And then the dirtiest coloring book ever, volumes 1 through 10. All right, well, there's something to Google at work today for that someone special. That's on Amazon, by the way. You can find those. Maybe a little good news. Should we clean up our act a little bit? I love this story of these school kids. You've got a janitor from Nigeria, heart of gold. Guess what they did for him? He doesn't get home to see his family very often. There's some audio with it. It's really pretty good. And if you don't like that one, we'll play the audio of the New York man who vows to regain his 750-pound alligator that was taken out of his New York apartment. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Monday, March the 18th. That was the Tubes lead singer Fee Waybill. Fee Waybill of the Tubes sings a song on a Jack Cassidy album from 2003. Jack Cassidy, the bassist for Jefferson Airplane, a guy who then went on and was also in Hot Tuna with Yorma, the guitarist from Jefferson Airplane. Jack Cassidy, great dude, great bassist. And Fee Waybill sings a song on one of his albums called Sweden. That's the name of the song. And I played the drum track on that song, Sweden. But when I did my part, I had no idea that Fee Waybill would come in later and sing on it. I was just asked, do you want to play on some Jack Cassidy tunes? And I said, yeah. And so I did. Years later, some kid came up. He goes, hey, man, I love that track, you and Fee Waybill. And I literally go, huh? Is that you and Fee Waybill from the Tubes, man? That song you guys did together? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, stoner. And then, of course, I was like, later I remembered that. I was like, that's so weird. And I literally took the time. I Googled my name and Fee Waybill, and it popped up. I was like, oh, I didn't know we did that together. Cool. So I thought some drugged up kid was just confused, and he was right on the money, and I just wasn't paying attention to the liner notes for a record I was on.
Yeah, some young kid walked away from you going, freaking stoner drummer.
That's exactly right. That's what
Remember who he played with.
Yeah, you have those conversations where you're both convinced the other person's completely out of their mind. Before that, we heard Leonard Skinner, the band who was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which makes perfect sense. The Hall of Fame this year, let's take a look at the fan vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year's inductees. Now, the fan vote, it's like... It means, I think, actually very little in terms of who's actually going to get in. It's one of the elements they look at for this. But here we go. Great news for Candace Wheeler as Ozzy Osbourne leading the fan vote right now. Complete number of votes, 293,000 so far, right? Okay. Ozzy, number one. Now, he's already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Black Sabbath, of course. But now he's number one. There's 15 nominees. He's number one. Number two, Dave Matthews Band, right nipping at his heels with 290,000. I would advise Dave not to nip too close to Ozzy because, he'll turn right around and bite you right back.
Nips back. Could take your head off. Well, Dave Matthews Band, they have a huge following still. They always have.
Oh, yeah.
Very devoted following.
Number three, and this was a surprise to me, Foreigner.
Yeah.
I think Foreigner should be in. I'm not saying anything about their music. Right. I'm surprised that the people are speaking as loudly as they are. And followed by number 4, Peter Frampton. And here's where it gets surprising. Number 5, Cher. 206,000 votes. That's your
Willie
top
Nelson.
5 fan votes right now.
Yeah. Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, some of these artists. Then you can have that debate. Rock and roll, Hall of music, whatever. I don't care. They're iconic. I'm not going to argue against them. But Cher really, what are we talking about? Her contribution. What did she write, Candace?
She's a rock star.
No, you got
It's a generalization of being a rock star.
She's not a rock star and has never been confused for one. Name me her rock song.
It doesn't matter.
And that's right. We don't have to get into genre. It doesn't hold up. You got Kool and the Gang on here. I'll argue for Kool and the Gang. You've got Jane's Addiction on here. I'll argue. A Tribe Called Quest? I may not argue for them, but I'm not going to argue against them. Cher doesn't have the catalog of work.
She's
not a rock star.
I'm hungover today and not able to argue against you right now.
She's an entertainer.
She is an entertainer. My God, that
entertainer extraordinaire.
That movie with Winona Ryder, she's great in that. By the way, Candace Wheeler, who's just said you're lucky. Candace doesn't have the energy to really go toe to toe about anything right now. But you know what Candace Wheeler does have today, ladies and gentlemen? Someone's got a little 4-leaf clover on their abdomen.
Yeah, I got a tattoo, man.
Brand new?
Somebody got
Someone dared me, and I was like, yeah, I'm not Irish, but I could be.
Somebody got over their skis yesterday and couldn't back down from a dare, apparently. During the commercial break, Candace is doing one of those stretches. She's like, yeah. And I look up, and a tiny little bit of that midriff exposed, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Boom, 4-leaf clover right there on the trunk, as they call it.
It doesn't look very good. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah, which prison were you in when you got that tattoo yesterday?
Well, at least, I could have scrubbed her off, but I didn't take a shower.
Oh, okay. So this is not a real tattoo.
No, it's not real. It's temporary.
Okay.
Yes,
I thought for a second there, like, wow. Okay.
And it's a cucumber slice. It's not a 4-leaf clover.
It's a cucumber slice.
I just thought it was a clover.
So if you're gonna give me a sliced cucumber, you better serve that with a side of McCormick's seasoned salt.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. I'm glad it's over. I'm tired.
Okay, very good. No thoughts on the seasoned salt reference? Did anyone else
it just went over my head.
When I was a kid with cucumber, that was the thing. The McCormick seasoned salt, a staple in the Gorman household. It was like fancy salt.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an A1 on your steak.
It is. It was like anything on a slice. I always put it on 2 things. Cucumbers. This is so weird. What a bizarre. My brain makes no sense of the things that it will just recall. Cucumbers or cottage cheese. The only two things I've ever put seasoned salt on in my life.
Okay.
It's probably good in other uses as well, but I wouldn't know. So I mentioned earlier, Chauncey Gorman, our dog, he spends a lot of time here at the KQ Morning Show. He's on the bench for a while. A little leg surgery on Friday. He came through it well, going to be fine. A little bit of rehab in his immediate future. You know, it's one of those things. Great pet. 7 years old. He turned 7 last week. When someone says, "Oh, do you have a dog?" and the answer is yes, it's usually like, "Cool, man, I like dogs." "Oh, man, you got a cat?" "I like cats." Sometimes someone's like, "Yeah, I have a bird," and you're like, "Huh, okay, all right." Okay. And then sometimes people go like, "Yeah, I got a ferret," and you're like, "I don't want to be there. I don't like the smell," but okay, I get it. Rarely is this something you hear in conversation. "Oh, yeah, I got a pet alligator." It does happen.
Yeah, there's one in Richfield, dog.
That's right. You told me about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a dog, you said.
No, I just dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is an alligator in Richfield, but you won't give us the name or the address because you don't want someone to come and take it.
No, I don't want to get him in trouble, but I think it's fine. I think it's all dandy. I don't know. I just don't want to, out him in case there's something going on.
No, well, that's respectful of you. I appreciate that. You're obviously not concerned with keeping the residents of Richfield safe from a rampant alligator.
If you live next door, you could possibly be living. If you live in Richfield, you could be living next door to an alligator.
How big is it?
It's very comforting.
It's an alligator, man. It's like a huge alligator. Like a normal one.
Have you seen this alligator?
Yeah.
With your own eyes?
No, I just saw pictures, but I believe.
Okay. So it's essentially your Bigfoot is an alligator in Richfield. You've got Loch Ness Monster, you've got Yetis, you've got Bigfoot, and you've got the Richfield Gator. Okay, cool. Just adding that to the list of things that may or may not actually exist. Sasquatch and this dude in Richfield with a gator.
Yep.
Well, there is a gentleman in upstate New York, a little town called Hamburg, New York, and he 100% does have an alligator. It's not little. It's 11 feet long. It weighs 750 pounds. And by the way, he returned home over the weekend to find his alligator gone. It had not escaped. It had been confiscated. New York Department of Environmental Conservation officers showed up and removed Albert, the 750-pound alligator, from a guy named Tony Cavallero. Now, this pet has been in this man's custody for almost 3 decades. The word on the street is the alligator is 30 years old, blind in both eyes, and does have spinal issues.
Okay.
All of which to me, that doesn't mean he's docile. That means he's more pissed off than your average alligator.
Yeah. Right.
My back hurts and I can't see, but if I smell your ass, I'm eating it.
I wouldn't approach an old person that had back problems, was obese, and couldn't, see.
No,
they're dangerous.
No, a wounded animal's it's at most day. Don't corner that little red cute fox. That's when he's gonna go at you. So this guy Tony Cavallero, he's had this pet for 30 years. He had a permit to keep the gator, and for years would update his permit, but he hasn't let it go. It expired in 2021, and he has not. And he hasn't renewed it. He just thought, the thing's too old, it doesn't matter. He also gives visitors access to see the gator. He lets people come over and pet the gator. That's a no-no, especially without it having a current permit. Right. He built an in-ground pool so the gator can swim off. Basically, at this point, he went from a legal alligator to an illegal alligator. They came and confiscated it, and now this guy says, by God, I'm getting my alligator back.
I don't even know where he is. I have no closure on this whole thing. I don't know what's going on. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to me. Well, everything they did to me was absolutely. It was like they treated me like I was a terrorist. He's like family. He's everybody loves him. I mean, he's got thousands of people, as you see, that love him.
He's just a big, gentle giant. He truly is. I just dipped into the pool real quick, and I just cautiously walked over to him, pat him on his head, and gave him a kiss.
Yeah,
I know Chris Farley had a gator.
He's a gentle giant with teeth the size of coffee mugs. Okay, It's not cool.
No.
I don't know. By the way, he said when he did have, he has there are regulations that require him to buy insurance coverage. Duh. Also, he has to tape Albert's mouth shut whenever he's around other people. There are regulations that insist he must have a fence around the enclosure to prevent him from getting loose. And apparently he's done all these things, but he just didn't keep the permit up since 2021. I just had to renew my tags, and boy, that took a bite.
Yeah.
So I get like, I'm tired of doing this, but if you've got a 750-pound alligator, blind or otherwise, and you've had him 30 years, it's not like people forget, okay? Everybody that ever walks by your house, if nothing else, they go, "Oh, that's where the alligator lives." It's
Right.
every single person in that town that's ever gone by your house. Hey, there's an alligator up there. I know you told me last time. I know, but isn't that weird? There's an alligator there. If there was an alligator anywhere in the Twin Cities, if it being the word here, I would talk, like, from now on, I don't think I'll go through Richfield without thinking about, I wonder if this is where that alligator is.
Yeah. Is that the house?
I mean, it's okay. He's a part of our community. We've accepted him, and
Yeah, what would you do if you actually saw him, though? You've accepted him because you've just seen pictures.
I don't know.
There's that weirdo down in Florida tried to take an alligator into one of the baseball games, spring training last year, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Had a little pet alligator. It was his emotional support alligator. I'm surprised this freaking alligator can get in and out of the pool. It's so fat, I don't think its feet can touch the ground. I'm looking at a picture of it now.
Yeah, it's big.
Just saying, what are they going to end up doing with that alligator? You know, that tail is all meat. That's where the meat comes from. That's the only thing of the alligator you eat is the tail. When you go out to the Minnesota State Fair there and you get the alligator on a stick, it's right out of the tail. Good white meat.
Did not realize that.
Yeah, it's all tail.
And the reason is I avoid eating anything involving reptiles or amphibians, just as a general rule.
It's chewy. It's like calamari. It's not
I
bad.
just steer clear.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Not too bad. So whatever, sauce. Get a good teriyaki with it or something like that. A sweet and sour. Dip that in it. No. So you've never eaten snake then either, have you?
Oh, God, no. No, I'm so freaked out by snakes that if I ate a piece of snake, I think it would kill me. Yeah, that's just how that works. That's all there is to it. The inventor of karaoke, a Japanese businessman named Shigechi Negishi, has passed away at the ripe old age of 100. My man was told at work years ago, he's a businessman, one of his employees in 1967 made fun of his singing voice, One crack about, "You're a terrible singer, boss." So he said, "Oh yeah, I'll show you." And he invented the first ever karaoke machine. It was called the Sparko box. Sparko box is a much better word. I'm sorry, much better name. I'm fascinated by anything called the Sparko box. But anyway, that became karaoke. And think about the impact on the world the karaoke machine has had. How many embarrassing moments? How many moments of true love and passion? How many heartwarming scenes have we seen played out because of Mr. Negishi's invention? One little trick along the way that he forgot, one box he forgot to check, I should say, never patented his invention.
Don't.
Always get the patent.
Always get the patent. And I'm on this article in People magazine. By the way, the Sparko box, remember the old speakers that had the psychedelic lights in them, that would light up on the bass beat? Boom, boom. He's got that going on in the Sparko box.
Sure,
and he would sell them door to door to bars and hotels and that sort of thing. Ended up selling about 8,000 of them. Never in all that hard work of his did he think to go patent the damn thing. Man. Yeah, because it's, he's wearing a nice ascot here. He looks good. He's an elderly gentleman.
Yeah.
Probably lived a very comfortable life, but his kids, what did you say earlier, could be living at the top of Mount Fuji in the big castle up there.
Had he just gotten the patent. And by the way, this gentleman died at 100 years old, not from, not just eventually his body shutting down. He actually fell. He was just doing great. I mean, if you get to triple digits and a fall is what kills you, you're just, man, well done.
Yeah, right.
You were still just rocking and rolling, making it all happen.
Probably tripped over a Sparko box or something that was laying around the house when it didn't get sold. They posted this on the website. I just listened to a little bit of my headphones while you're talking there, Steve. It can't be this bad. It's a couple singing karaoke posted on the website for the inventor of karaoke that passed away on the People website.
And if I should ever go away, well, then close your eyes and try.
What song is that?
Feel the way we do today.
All right.
What was that? Is that night where they have people who can't sing, can't hear, and then they say make up a song as you sing it?
Yeah, that's called karaoke night.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather listen to that, honestly, than someone who goes up there and is like a phenomenal singer. Like, I don't care. Like, cool, go start a band.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to hear the drunk, bad singers. It's my favorite part.
You ought to come in or whatever.
That's why I stayed there so late last night at the Otter in honor of this gentleman. I had to do it right for him. That's why.
Candace, on the KQ karaoke cruise last summer, you let it loose.
Yeah.
If I'm not.
Well, that was a group effort, I will say. We did a Dr. Love by Kiss. When it wasn't just me. Did. All the listeners that were.
It's a chorus. The
Yeah.
KQ chorus.
It's a good chorus. Someone did a survey in Mr. Nagishi's honor and said, here are the 30 best karaoke songs for people who can't sing. I'm not going to give you all 30, but number one on the list, if you want to get a little Pepto-Bismol before I say the name, because everybody's reaction is the same, that would be Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. We've all heard that one enough. Yeah. Especially, can you imagine being in Boston? They still do that at Red Sox games. Seventh inning stretch song, Sweet Caroline. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah, right.
I say, by the way, I say that as an Orioles fan. Do you know what the Baltimore Orioles seventh inning stretch song is and has been for decades? Anybody?
Take Me Out to the Ball Game?
Nope.
Ghostbusters.
Nope. Come on, Candace. Throw one obscure song that will make no sense to anybody when they hear the answer.
Don't Stop Believing.
That would be great. John Denver's Thank God I'm a Country Boy.
Well, when I think Maryland, Baltimore in particular.
But you ever seen The Wire? It's all about country living.
Sure.
That's one of the greatest ever. It's like The Waltons and The Wire, two throwback shows to a time in America when rural life was really.
Well, it's a leg slapper, isn't it? Thank God something about cakes on the griddle, laughing, nothing but a funny riddle.
It's just so strange to me. And again, that's my team, and I really enjoy it. They've been doing it since 1975 they started, and then around the mid-'90s it turned into it just became the real thing. They used to kind of alternate, I guess, but it's been years, I guess, since they've not done it. It's a weird one. I don't understand it. And I mean, I've looked it up and asked to find out why, and I refuse to remember that information because I've been filing a silent protest my whole life.
Attaboy.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, I love the team, but seriously, if you're going to do John Denver, then by God, give me some Sunshine on My Shoulders or Rocky Mountain High.
Rocky Mountain
High.
Yeah.
I guess that would make more sense for the Colorado Rockies now that I think about it. And they don't even rewrite the lyrics to talk about crabs and stuff. Baltimore, thank God we wrote the national anthem here. They don't do anything like that.
No, I don't get it. I mean, Maryland must be home to some. What's the great artist that came out of Maryland?
There's Edgar Allan Poe is buried downtown Maryland. Kind of a. You don't really want to sing about him. Kind of a miserable, drunk, weird poet. Let's see.
The computer's got it for us.
Yeah, Joan Jett's an Orioles fan. Maybe she knows.
Okay.
Play Joan Jett, for God's sakes. Zappa's a Marylander? Didn't know.
Zappa's a Marylander. There you go. Take your pick. Grab a Zappa tune. People'd love to hear it.
Man, that would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Denver, Zappa. It's not even a coin toss to me. Go Frank all day long. Get your freak on, Orioles. All right, how about we look back?
So, what happened?
Okay, I'll tell you something that happened. Here's a weird baseball story. In 1979, Hall of Famer Willie Mays, long since retired, was ostracized from Major League Baseball because he signed a 10-year deal to become an associate with a hotel/casino in Atlantic City. He was basically a glorified greeter. He was just part of the PR team at a casino, and baseball said, hey, Willie Mays, say, hey, Willie, you're no longer welcome at Major League events as long as you work for a casino. Again, he was retired, and he's Willie Mays. Mickey Mantle was so annoyed by that he said, all right, I'm going to I'll work for a casino too. And they told Mickey Mantle to piss off. Unbelievable. On this day in 1985, Peter Ueberroth, who had become the new commissioner, said, no, they're both welcome back at major league events. No sport just gets it wrong quite like baseball. All the sanctity of the game and all that nonsense.
Right.
Like, they're so upset about all the guys who were on steroids when everybody on planet Earth with a set of eyes was like, hey, you know those guys are all on steroids, right?
Right.
Jeez. Drives me nuts. On this day in 1995, Michael Jordan returned to the National Basketball Association after almost a 2 full year run at playing baseball. One of the weirder chapters in 20th century sports. Jordan returned to the Bulls for the following 3 seasons. They won their second three-peat, if you will, 6 titles in 6 attempts. Michael Jordan pretty much cemented himself as the most dominant, most popular, most beloved athlete of the 20th century, I believe. By the time the internet comes along, it was sorry, Babe Ruth. It's all about MJ now. And people in Spain don't know who Babe Ruth was. Michael Jordan was global.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.